Chapter 1675. I can't say I'm 90% sure, but I won't flatter the horse's feet. Yang Zhen lowered his voice and said to Huang Zhima, Director Huang, you have to think carefully. The matter of you currying favor with Chief Tan will definitely be exposed. That matter is handled by Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. You found the wrong person. Ha ha ha, brother, you're making fun of me. You want me to provoke Deputy Bureau Chief Shi? That big boss who doesn't do anything is not someone I can afford to provoke. Huang Zhima snorted. This Yang Zhen really had bad intentions. Too bad, really too bad. Yang Zhen purposely said, Director Huang, then why do you think Chief Tan was so cold to me just now? Think carefully. Huang Zhima was stunned. Just now, Chief Tan was indeed cold to Yang Zhen. He left expressionlessly after greeting him. Why was that? Wait a minute. Huang Zhima's heart suddenly shivered. Once business and official matters were mixed together, it was bound to offend people. Could it be that this Yang Zhen had climbed up to Deputy Bureau Chief Shi's branch? That was why Chief Tan was upset when he saw him? Didn't that mean that this project had really become Yang Zhen's? If that was the case, then wouldn't all his efforts have been for naught? Everything he did before was just to clear a path for Yang Zhen. Yang Zhen's move was ruthless. He didn't even see Deputy Bureau Chief Shi's face and dared to say such things. It was nothing more than adding psychological pressure to Huang Zhima. The reason he did so was simple. It was because he was under a lot of psychological pressure. Although Huang Zhima didn't climb up to Deputy Bureau Chief Shi, he was so close to Chief Tan. This made Yang Zhen's heart feel empty. Even if this matter wasn't handled by Chief Tan, he was still a bureau chief. Huang Zhima still managed to contact a bureau chief. But what about him? He, Yang Zhen, didn't manage to contact anyone. He could only pin his hopes on Deputy Bureau Chief Shi giving him some face. Now Huang Zhima suddenly interfered and inexplicably got so close to Chief Tan. What exactly was going on here that made Yang Zhen feel uneasy? Therefore, Yang Zhensai deliberately said this in order to make Huang Zhima as nervous and unhappy as he was. Even if Yang Zhen didn't manage to climb up the branch of Deputy Chief Shi, he still had to let Huang Zhima feel that he did. This way, it would definitely affect Huang Zhima psychologically. In order to beat down their competitors, these businessmen were all showing off their abilities. While they were waiting outside the bureau, Tang Jiu and her subordinates had just finished their breakfast. Seeing that it was about time, all the young talents followed Tang Jiu to the bureau. Although Su Yun said that he wasn't going, after Tang Jiu left, he still handed over the work in his hands to Lin Ge and followed him out. At the same time, other than Yang Zhen and Huang Zhima who were at loggerheads with each other, the people from both sides who had found a way out were also ready. Because they had only managed to suppress 2 competitors yesterday, there was still one more that they had not been able to control. Therefore, they still had to settle this matter this morning. Not only were there Shirley and his subordinates at the entrance of the bureau, there were also people invited by Huang Zhima on the other side. The people invited by Huang Zhima naturally knew Shirley's identity. Moreover, Shirley was familiar with this place. When they saw Shirley's people present, they immediately retreated. Letting Shirley deal with this matter would not be a loss for them at all. Shirley wasn't blind. He could see that these people wanted to take advantage of the situation. However, he didn't reject this situation. Since they wanted to see, then he would let them see what kind of power he had on Qingdao. If they knew what was good for them, then they should get out of here as soon as possible. The further they went, the better. The people invited by Huang Zhima treated Shirley as a tool, while Shirley treated this matter as a means to establish his authority. Both sides took what they needed, so there was no conflict. Everything was very calm, waiting for someone to break it. Naturally, Tang Jiu was the one who broke the peace. A few security guards arranged by Tang Enterprise were sitting in the leading commercial car. Because they were going out to bid this time, it was obvious that there would be competition. Just in case, it was necessary to bring a few security guards. Following closely behind was the assistant and project manager's car. Finally, Tang Jiu's car was the last. Just as they were about to approach the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development, the car in front of them suddenly screeched to a halt. There was a roadblock on the road. 2 young men with short hair and gold necklaces quickly came over and knocked on the window of the security guard in front of them. What are you doing? The young man said. Do you know that there is a big matter today? You can't just enter and leave this road. Who are you? You are blocking the road? Do you have any identification? The driver wasn't a kind person. He had seen the world and wasn't afraid of the gangsters. If you don't have any identification, don't make up a reason to charge. Be careful, or I will call the police. The young man spat. Who the F***CK wants to charge you? I am telling you that there is a bidding at the bureau today. It is a big matter. All of you who have nothing to do with it, get lost. Don't go over. Seeing the situation, Tang Jiu's assistant had already gotten out of the car and ran over. When he heard what the other party said, he immediately revealed his identity. Sorry, it's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. We are not here to cause trouble. We are here to participate in this bidding. Ha ha ha. We are all on the same side. Hearing this, Shirley's men instantly became spirited. Shirley, who was sitting in the Mercedes-Benz by the roadside, also smiled. Finally, this family of competitors had arrived. Then he could finally let those bastards who were watching the show see what kind of person he, Shirley, was. Shirley gave a look, and the underling immediately opened the car door for him. Shirley got out of the car, tidied up his clothes, and took out a cigarette. The underling beside him lit it for him. Shirley took a deep puff of the cigarette, and looked at the situation in front with a faint smile. Bidding? Then, all the more we can't enter. Shirley's underling suddenly shouted. Brothers, let's send off our guests from afar. Okay. With this shout, Shirley's underlings all showed the weapons in their hands. Tang Jiu's assistant was so scared that his legs went soft on the spot. At this moment, the leader of the lackeys smashed a stick on the hood of the SUV, creating a deep hole. The few security guards in the car naturally couldn't sit still and wait for death. They immediately jumped out of the car. These security guards were all carefully selected. They had all experienced things in the army. Later, they were trained by Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang, so they were all good at fighting 1 against 3. In fact, if the two brothers Zhang Wenning and Zhang Yongliang were here today, it would be easy to settle the matter. However, there was a matter in Jibei that required manpower, so Tang Jiu arranged for them to be there. He didn't bring any experts with him today, only these few security guards. But after all, the other party had the advantage in numbers. Moreover, they had all kinds of knives in their hands. They were barehanded and didn't have any usable weapons. After getting out of the car, they were suppressed by Shirley's men in just a few rounds. Shirley's subordinates were truly ruthless in their attacks. With each hit, blood flowed out of their heads and covered their faces. This show of strength to intimidate the tiger completely suppressed Tang Jiu's people. Tang Jiu couldn't sit still anymore. He directly got out of the car. Seeing their boss get out of the car, regardless of whether it was the assistant or the project department, they all got out of the car to protect Tang Jiu. What do you want in broad daylight? Tang Jiu went forward and shouted angrily. I'll say it here today. No one can stop me from going to the housing bureau. I don't believe that you can do anything to me. After saying that, Tang Jiu said to his assistant, accompany him in my car to the hospital. Hurry up and stop the bleeding. Yes. The assistant was naturally happy to get such a good job. The most important thing was to leave this place. Chapter 1676. Everyone who knew Tang Jiu knew that she would never bow her head to any evil forces. Even when she was in the Tang Corporation, she had always held her head high and faced all the opponents who bared their fangs at her. Where I want to go is none of your business. Tang Jiu glared fiercely at the hooligans in front of her. These hooligans didn't know how to deal with her at that moment. These hooligans had seen all kinds of weapons before, but they had never seen such a stunning beauty standing in front of them and scolding them sternly. In the past, if it were anyone else, these hooligans would definitely take action. But in front of a beauty, and such a beauty at that, who could bear to lay their hands on her? Everyone had a love for beauty. Some people said that not all men didn't know how to be tender and protective of the fairer sex. These words were bullsh*t. There were different ways to judge a tender and protective of the fairer sex. What was a fragrant and what was a jade that was worth cherishing? Everyone's vision was different. Facing Tang Jiu, this group of men were all protective of the fairer sex. Even if Big Brother Shirley was behind them, these hooligans put away their sinister faces and looked at Tang Jiu with smiles. They couldn't wait to hold Tang Jiu in the palm of their hands. A beauty, this is a matter of society. This. A girl like you shouldn't get involved. This is my business. I'm here to bid on behalf of the Tang Corporation. You can't stop me, Tang Jiu said as she strode forward, not caring about the hooligans' gazes. The employees around her seemed to be encouraged by their boss as they gathered their courage and followed behind Tang Jiu. With such a beauty leading the way, this group of hooligans didn't know where to start. They couldn't fight, but they also couldn't not fight. Everyone's eyes couldn't help but look at Shirley. Shirley was about to get angry, but when his subordinates pulled him aside, he saw Tang Jiu and was instantly dumbfounded. Wasn't this the little Jiu who could drink so much when Suyun called him to Lan Guifang that night? It couldn't be. She was CEO Tang of the Tang Corporation? The other person who came to bid for the affordable housing today? Shirley felt a headache coming on. How could he stop Suyun's woman? If Suyun were to find out about this, he would lose all his face. Little did he know that Suyun had seen all of this. Suyun didn't show himself because he believed that Shirley wasn't the kind of person who didn't pay attention. Get the F***ck out of here. Go do what you're supposed to do. Shirley suddenly turned around, and with his back facing his brothers he roared. All of you scram. If anyone dares to touch President Tang, I'll skin them alive. Shirley, who was usually a man of his word, suddenly became angry. His subordinates didn't know why, but they were all dumbfounded. Could it be that Big Brother Lei had the same thought when he saw a beautiful woman? You are. Tang Jiu seemed to recognize Shirley, but he wasn't sure. After all, Shirley had turned around and left under the cover of his subordinates. President Tang, we can't let them go just like that. They even injured our people. Someone reminded him. However, Tang Jiu didn't want to continue. After all, they were about to participate in the bidding, and the medical fees weren't much. The company could still afford it. Moreover, these people were local tyrants. If they were really provoked, Tang Jiu didn't dare to say what would happen in the end. Therefore, since the other party wanted to leave, Tang Jiu was happy to settle the dispute like this. Otherwise, both sides would suffer. Then let's walk over. Tang Jiu didn't get in the car again. They were less than 400 meters away from the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. She led a group of employees and strode towards the entrance of the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Several cars followed behind. Shirley ordered his subordinates to leave as he got into the car and regretted explaining this to Suyun. He was so annoyed. If he had known that Suyun's woman was among the bidders, he wouldn't have agreed to do this kind of thing with that damn Yang Jinlai. The big brother that Huang Zhima had invited was called Wang Qing. He wasn't from Qingdao, but he was definitely a ruthless character. He was very surprised to see Shirley suddenly become listless. Although Director Tang of the Tang Group was very beautiful, they had been around for so many years and had seen all kinds of beautiful women. He couldn't be subdued by a girl's beauty, right? Those who went soft at the sight of women were all hooligans. As bosses, they couldn't have such a problem. Obviously, Wang Qing had guessed that Tang Jiu had a background. Moreover, Shirley knew her background, so he didn't dare to provoke her. Wang Qing sneered. Shirley didn't dare to provoke her, but that didn't mean that I, Wang Qing, didn't dare to provoke her. You're from Qingdao, but I'm not. After this is over, I'll take the money and leave immediately. No one will dare to provoke me. Wait a minute. Director Tang, right? I'm afraid you still can't go over. Wang Qing took the moment when the situation calmed down and led his men to block Tang Jiu and her team. The atmosphere suddenly became tense again. Tang Jiu frowned and said angrily, "You guys are simply lawless." Director Tang, you're right. I like to hear that. We are lawless. This is a fact that can't be changed. Wang Qing didn't have as many misgivings as Shirley. If you can cooperate and leave this place, then we can become good friends. But if you insist on staying here, then I'll have no choice but to ruthlessly destroy you. Tang Jiu couldn't do anything about this. She couldn't let the drivers drive over. She was a law-abiding person. If you do that, I'll call the police. Tang Jiu glared. Director Tang, think about it. If we were afraid of the police, or if we didn't give them a heads up, would we dare to make things difficult for you so openly? Wang Qing said. You can call the police. When the police come, I'll say that your group owes us hard-earned money. When the time comes, we'll all be taken to the police station for questioning. I don't care if it takes 2 or 3 hours, but I'm afraid that Director Tang can't afford the delay. Yes, the police were too complicated. If they encountered such a situation, Tang Jiu would definitely be taken to the police station for questioning. Tang Jiu couldn't find enough evidence to prove that this scoundrel had no business relationship with her, and that she didn't owe him money. If she really delayed for 2 or 3 hours, the bidding would be over. Then, what was the point of her coming to the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development? She couldn't call the police, and she couldn't deal with this problem for too long. Tang Jiu had no choice but to ask Su Yin for help. There was only half an hour left. Would Su Yin be able to make it? At this time, Shirley couldn't take it anymore. He didn't care if he was recognized. He led his men forward. A good dog doesn't block the way. Get out of the way for Director Tang. Shirley said majestically. This was his territory. It wasn't a place for outsiders to behave atrociously. Ha ha ha, Brother Lei is so imposing. Wang Qing smiled disapprovingly. Most of Shirley's men had left, but his men were still there. If they really fought, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage at all. Tang Jiu looked back at Shirley and was shocked. Wasn't this the Brother Lei who had been drinking with her and Su Yin at the bar the other day? No wonder he was so dignified that day. It turned out that he was the boss. Director Tang, I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Shirley said embarrassedly. You can go do your business. I'll take care of things here. What kind of drama was this? Tang Jiu couldn't understand what was going on. What was going on? Brother Lei, do you think you can take care of things here? Wang Qing said unhappily. I know about your influence on Guqin Island, but don't look down on me too much. No matter who you are, you'll have to pay the price for tearing down my stage. Chapter 1677. Then I really want to see what kind of price you can make me pay. Let's see who dares to touch President Tang today. Shirley didn't believe that there was anyone who dared to touch him on Guqin Island. They must be tired of living. I have acquaintances in the hospital morgue. Tell them later that I'll leave a good spot near the door for whoever dares to touch him. The veins on Wang Qing's temples were popping out. It had been too long since someone had taught this Shirley a lesson. That arrogance, that insufferably arrogant attitude, Wang Qing really couldn't tolerate it. I gave you face and called you Big Brother Lei. If I don't give you face, who the F***ck are you in my eyes? Today, I really want to teach you a lesson, you big trouble. Brothers, if we let this be ***starred walk out of this street alive today, I, Shirley, won't have any face left in the future? Shirley sneered and said to his subordinates who hadn't left yet. Shirley's subordinates were all full of vigor. They were used to being arrogant, so how could they just watch someone act cool in front of Big Brother Lei? At that moment, they all turned hostile. Some were so stunned that they started to step forward to teach Wang Qing a good lesson, while others immediately took out their phones to make a call. After all, Brother Lei had already spoken and told them to scram. Who would dare to not stop? Each of them left faster than the other. Their speed was comparable to Xiang's. If they were properly trained, they could even be sent to the Olympics. Wang Qing dared to challenge Shirley, because Shirley had sent away most of his subordinates. Otherwise he wouldn't do such a stupid thing. Now that he had more people, 3 against 1, he didn't believe that his subordinates couldn't win. However, if Shirley's subordinates called for more people to come back, then the situation would be difficult to determine. Therefore, Wang Qing definitely wouldn't let anyone make a call. Whoosh! He took out a black pistol and aimed it directly at Shirley's forehead. In an instant, not only were Shirley's subordinates stunned, but even Shirley himself was stunned. It was not like 10 years ago, when there were plenty of people who dared to pull out guns to scare people in broad daylight. Over the years, Huaxia's spiritual civilization and social development had progressed, as well as the elimination of evil forces, especially the control of guns. Even Shirley would not use his gun easily. Even if he wanted to scare people, He would only use his gun in remote places with few people, or in the middle of the night. If he were to open fire in such a place, it would be equivalent to causing a lot of trouble for himself. Tang Jiu was also stunned. Her men had the thought of charging in, but when they saw the black muzzle of the gun, they all went limp and started to retreat. They couldn't be blamed for being timid. They were just ordinary white-collar workers. Anyone who said they weren't afraid in such a situation would definitely be acting cool. Put down your fucking phones. Wang Qing scolded angrily. What are all of you showing off in front of me? You like to pretend, right? Come on, continue pretending for me to see. Let's see who the F***CK dares to dial the number. Do you believe that I will kill your boss with one shot? Shirley's subordinates couldn't help but gasp. What should they do now? The gun was aimed at Brother Lei. None of them dared to move. Wang Qing, I really don't believe that you would dare to shoot. Shirley sneered. Right here, you can try shooting. Even if you can't kill me or hit me, firing a gun is still a crime. I think you should stay in jail for a while. Don't you know how strict the laws of the People's Republic of Huaxiao are? Don't pretend to be a good person with me. Don't I know how strict the laws are? How can you, Shirley, know? Wang Qing said disdainfully. Let me tell you, even if I kill you, someone will take the blame for me. These brothers of mine are all loyal to their friends. Shirley believed that not many of these little brothers who came out to mingle with others had good family conditions. They really dared to bear this kind of stain that could never be washed clean for the rest of their lives just for a few 100,000 yuan. If you are really good to your brothers, you won't let your brothers take the blame for you. Although Shirley was a person who had seen great storms, after analyzing the current situation, he didn't doubt that Wang Qing really dared to shoot him. There were two reasons that could boost Wang Qing's arrogance. First, his weakness was that he wasn't a person from Qingdao. If he really shot him, at most, he would run away. Once he escaped Qingdao in time, it wouldn't be easy to catch him. Second, it was Shirley's own identity. With Shirley's identity, it was easy for him to find all kinds of social revenge. Even the police knew this, so if Shirley was beaten, the police wouldn't care much about solving the problem. With these two reasons, Wang Qing had a reason to shoot Shirley. People in the underworld had one thing in common. When they wanted to save face, they were easily impulsive. Being impulsive made it easy to do things that couldn't be made up for. A pistol wasn't so safe. It was just a matter of pulling the trigger for half a second. It was definitely too late to regret. Besides, even if the trigger wasn't pulled, there was still a chance of it going off. Teach Big Brother Lei's good brothers a lesson. I want to see how Big Brother Lei treats his brothers. Wang Qing roared viciously. The underlings behind him rushed forward without hesitation, punching and kicking Shirley's men. Their attacks were ruthless, all aimed at the head. Because Shirley's head was pointed at by a gun, his underlings didn't dare to resist. They didn't have many people, and now they couldn't do anything, so they just let the other party beat them up. Those with weaker resistance had already fallen to the ground under the combined attacks of 2 or 3 people from the other side. These people were all masters of fighting all day long, and their attacks were heavy. In a few minutes, they could beat someone until they couldn't even stand up. Soon, Shirley's underlings couldn't hold on anymore. If this continued, someone would really have a dangerous situation like a brain hemorrhage. Wang Qing, what the F***CK do you want? Come at me. Don't use this method to threaten people. Shirley was angry, but facing the gun, he really couldn't do anything. Wang Qing spat. What do you think I want? Shirley, I didn't provoke you today. I didn't stop you, but you stuck your head out for me to chop. You don't dare to touch this girl, but that doesn't mean I don't dare to. What you can't do today, Wang Qing, can do. I'm helping you deal with something you don't want to do. It's fine if you don't thank me. But you're standing out for me? What do you think I want? If this Wang Qing were to target him, Shirley could really let it go and admit defeat. At most, he could just go back and get back at Wang Qing for all the anger he had suffered. But this Wang Qing was targeting Tang Jiu, so Shirley definitely couldn't give in. If you want to touch Boss Tang, then you can't. If you have the guts, then open a black hole in my head. Unless I die, you won't be able to stop Boss Tang today. Shirley was also ruthless. But let me tell you, if I die, don't think you can leave Qingdao alive. Try it. Most of the time, momentum could cause many things to change qualitatively. For example, in today's situation, Wang Qing was originally the one who had the upper hand, but Shirley's sudden ruthlessness actually caused Wang Qing to be stunned. This definitely wasn't to say that Wang Qing was afraid of trouble, but aura could make people re-evaluate the situation. When Wang Qing realized that if he killed Shirley, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences, his finger couldn't pull the trigger anymore. Get out of my way. Relying on his imposing manner, Shirley strode towards the path blocked by Wang Qing and his group of brothers. In the face of such a lone hero, Wang Qing's subordinates really admired him. If he were to change into a windbreaker and wear a toothpick, then he would be the real version of a hero. Chapter 1678. Tang Jiu didn't know what to say. Everything happened too suddenly. She didn't have time to figure out what was going on. Although the people who stopped her, injured her security guards, and smashed the company car were all Shirley's people, the people who stood up for her were also Shirley's people. With the eldest brother taking the lead, the injured brothers on the ground also gritted their teeth and stood up. Except for a few who were beaten to the point that they couldn't even stand up. As long as they still had the strength to straighten their backs, none of them were willing to be a weakling. Those who worked in the IT industry knew what coding was, those who worked in the design industry knew what art was, and those who worked in the underworld knew what loyalty was. Every industry had its own rules. Those who were able to stay by Shirley's side until now were not willing to be cowards. With their boss taking the lead, if anyone still wanted to shrink back, then they would really have the life of a tortoise. If you dare to take another step, I'll shoot. Don't worry, I'll shoot. Although Wang Qing had the upper hand in the situation, he was still suppressed by Shirley in terms of morale. The brothers around him did not want to see him shoot. If this matter got out of hand, one of them would die. Even if there were people who would stand up for the sake of benefits, the others would still be implicated. After all, not everyone could withstand the trouble brought about by this kind of thing. Moreover, Shirley had already said that even if they killed him, Wang Qing definitely wouldn't be able to leave Qingdao alive. If even their boss couldn't walk out alive, what about them? At the very least, they would be beaten to a pulp. Just now they had seen how many people Shirley had. If that group of brothers all rushed back, each of them would be counted as one, and none of them would be able to escape. Boss, after all, this isn't our territory. Let's not go overboard. Finally, one of the brothers couldn't help but whisper in Wang Qing's ear. He also noticed something else. This woman can make Shirley protect her so desperately. How powerful is the force behind her? We're helping President Huang to make money. We don't need to put our lives and the lives of our brothers here. Wang Qing was also worried and considered the consequences. However, things had already gotten out of hand. He didn't expect Shirley to be so stubborn. If he backed down now, where would he put his face? No matter how bad he was still a boss. If he admitted defeat in front of so many brothers, what dignity would he have in the future? No way. Even if he had to die today, he had to do it. A person's face was like a tree's bark. He couldn't just throw away his face like this. Anger and pride had completely destroyed Wang Qing's rationality. He suddenly pulled the trigger. No one realized that he was really going to shoot. Only Su Yun, who was hiding in the shadows, had considered Wang Qing's feelings. He knew that impulsiveness would destroy his rationality. Just as Wang Qing was about to pull the trigger, Su Yun stopped hiding and rushed towards Shirley like a ghost. The moment the gunshot rang out, Shirley was also pushed out by Su Yun. Although Su Yun's extreme speed was enough to dodge the bullet, he was still a step too late. The bullet still hit Shirley's shoulder. Because the distance was too close, and the power was too great, it directly penetrated through. Shirley was hit the moment he was pushed out by Su Yun. If it wasn't for Su Yun's timely arrival, the bullet might have really gone through his head. Shirley, who fell heavily to the ground, felt a sharp pain in his shoulder. When he saw Su Yun's figure clearly, Su Yun had already rushed towards Wang Qing. With a face wipe kick, he directly hit Wang Qing's face. Blood spurted out of Wang Qing's mouth and nose, and even his broken teeth flew out. However, Su Yun didn't stop there. He followed up with a divine dragon tail whip and sent Wang Qing flying tens of meters away. All of this happened in an instant. Those who were slow to react didn't even see what Su Yin had done. This was a brutal burst of power. In just 2 moves, Wang Qing was completely knocked out. Perhaps the gunshot really angered Su Yin. There were so many people here, including Tang Jiu. Bullets didn't have eyes. Everyone was in danger because of this shot. Of course, the one who was shot was still Shirley. If Su Yin had arrived a moment later, Shirley might have died on the spot. Wang Qing, who was crippled in 2 moves, was no longer able to command the situation. His subordinates were also in a mess. Su Yin naturally wouldn't let this group of bastards go. He didn't give them a chance to escape. He bent down and used total annihilation to knock down a bunch of them. There was someone who was stupid enough to attack Su Yin today. In the end, he was ruthlessly kicked to the ground by Su Yin. Those who knew the ropes could see that Su Yin's every move was a killing move. One move would definitely make the person who was hit completely fall to the ground and lose the ability to resist. The aura of this heavenly soldier instantly drove Shirley's subordinates who still had the ability to fight. Although they were injured, when they saw their boss injured, their anger made them forget their pain. They pounced on Wang Qing's subordinates like hungry tigers pouncing on their prey. Su Yin alone killed almost 80% of Wang Qing's subordinates. His attacks were steady, accurate, and ruthless. None of the people here today would be able to escape after committing a crime. The gunshots had already attracted the attention of passers-by who had witnessed everything. The police quickly rushed to the scene. When the last of Wang Qing's subordinates was knocked to the ground, Su Yin quickly came to Tang Jiu's side. Don't think too much. Take down this bid. I'll be outside. Okay. Tang Jiu bit her lip and nodded seriously. Only then did she realize that all this trouble was caused by the bidding. Fortunately, Su Yin arrived in time. Otherwise, she was afraid that today's bidding would really be delayed by these people. Although the cars were blocked by the injured people, they couldn't stop Tang Jiu's footsteps. Tang Jiu led her team directly across the road filled with gangsters and headed straight for the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Send your brother Lei to the hospital, Su Yin said. I'll take care of things here. Shirley's subordinates looked at Su Yin gratefully and quickly helped Shirley up. However, Shirley waved his hand and rejected their help. He bared his teeth and said to Su Yin, Brother Su Yin, I have to apologize to you for what happened today. If I knew that CEO Tang was here to bid, I wouldn't have done it even if you beat me to death. Brother Lei, I know what kind of person you are. I also know why you helped Yangzhen. You owe him a favor because of me. If we look at the root of this matter, it's also my fault. Su Yin said, Go to the hospital and take out the bullet first. If I leave now, I won't have the face to continue living here. How can I let you shoulder my problems? Shirley said, Even if I get shot, I asked for it. The police must be on the way. You go first. I'm here. This kind of thing will affect your status. Su Yin shook his head helplessly. I'm asking you to go to the hospital, but that doesn't mean I won't let the police find you. You have to help with the investigation and convict this guy. I won't have any influence here. At most, I'm just being a good Samaritan and beat him up a little too hard. There's such a thing as being a good Samaritan. Shirley was stunned. That's not the point, boss. Shirley's subordinates were a little speechless. CEO Su is just lending a helping hand. When the police come, they will give him a commendation. They might even give him a banner or something. Shirley felt a sharp pain in his shoulder. It was so painful that he grimaced. So it's like that. Then you can't leave. You have to accept the commendation. I can't leave either. I have to stay here to help you clear up this matter. Su Yin knew that he couldn't persuade him, so he didn't say anything more. He turned and walked to Wang Qing. Although he had held back his strength when he attacked just now, it was still a little too heavy for an ordinary person. This guy better not get a brain hemorrhage or something like that. If that happened, Su Yin's excessive bravery for a just cause would really cause some trouble for him. Shirley could see Su Yin's worry and reassured him. Brother Su Yin, if something happens, I'll help you. Chapter 1679. Shirley's words weren't just polite words. Nor were they empty words. He was well aware of the importance of Su Yun's push just now. At that time, that bastard Wang Qing really aimed at his glabella and fired. If it was not for Su Yun, he would have been shot in the head. Manager Su, if this guy really dies, I will take responsibility for Brother Lei. You better not admit it. Shi Lei's lackey was also a particular person. He patted his chest on the spot. He would do anything for Shi Lei willingly. His mother's stomach cancer could be treated and controlled, because Shi Lei contacted the hospital and provided the money for the surgery. Su Yun knew that he was the one who did it. He won't die. Don't think too much. I will settle this. You all should think about how to solve your own problems first. There are so many surveillance cameras on the roadside. You all have to take responsibility for your actions. While they were talking, police sirens could be heard from afar. The police had reported that gunshots had been fired. The police station took this matter seriously and sent over a dozen police cars. Even the armed police were alerted. When the police arrived at the scene, they saw a lot of people lying on the ground. They were so scared that they were sweating. They thought they had killed a lot of people. After understanding the situation, the police officers were relieved. The injured were sent to the hospital under the police's supervision. Su Yun was also brought back for questioning. This was a shooting case. This was not a small matter. They had to take this matter seriously. Tang Jiu believed that Su Yun would solve all the problems. So he let go of all the burdens in his heart. He must win this bid and give it to Su Yun to make him feel better. The time was approaching. Tang Jiu saw so many cars parked at the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. He also knew that his competitors had arrived. That's right. Everyone had arrived. Yang Zhen and Huang Zhima were in a cold war in the conference room. Both parties had occupied one side of the long oval conference table. They did not expect a third party to join them. When Tang Jiu brought his men into the conference room, Yang Zhen and Huang Zhima were dumbfounded. Both of them took out their phones at the same time. Yang Zhen called Shi Lei, and Huang Zhima called Wang Qing. However, neither of them picked up the phone. Wang Qing was unconscious, so it was impossible for him to pick up the phone. Shi Lei's phone had also been confiscated by the police. He was on his way to the hospital to retrieve the bullet. This time, both of them were shocked. Could it be that this girl had brought someone stronger than the one they had found? Directly cripple the people on both sides? One had to know that the two of them had clearly heard the gunshots just now, but they thought that it was their own people trying to intimidate the other party, so they didn't care. Tang Jiu sat down at the other end of the table. She already knew that the two groups of people just now must have been hired by the two competitors, so she couldn't be bothered with them. After entering the house, he didn't even look at them once. Hello, I'm Yang Zhen. May I ask who this lady is? Yang Zhen was the first to ask. He wanted to know who the other party was and what company she was from. If you don't even have this bit of information, how can you defeat your competitors? Do you only rely on those dishonorable methods? Tang Jiu said disdainfully. She then looked at Huang Zhima. Mr. Huang, what you said is right? When Huang Zhima heard that the other party knew about him, it was obvious that they had done their homework. It seemed that the other party knew about the strength of his and Yang Zhen's companies. They weren't so clear about it. They didn't do much homework because they were too confident that they could handle this matter. This was really a careless mistake. Yang Zhen and Huang Zhima couldn't help but feel vexed. The final bidding meeting was about to begin. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi arrived at the meeting room 2 minutes early. When he walked into the meeting room and saw that there were only 3 bidding companies, his face became a little ugly. Pa. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi threw some documents on the table. Director Zhang and Section Chief Li, who came with him, immediately realized that Deputy Bureau Chief Shi was in a bad mood. Everyone could see that Deputy Bureau Chief Shi was very angry, and the consequences were very serious. Only people from the 3 of you? Deputy Bureau Chief Shi said in a low voice. He pointed at the mulberry tree and scolded the locust tree. It seems that some people are unscrupulous in order to achieve their goals. I really feel ashamed for this kind of people. Humph, 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 they don't even dare to compete. It's really too shameful. It makes me feel disgusted. Yang Zhen and Huang Zhima had a guilty conscience. They didn't dare to say anything even though they were scolded. They looked up at the ceiling as if nothing had happened. Director Zhang, Section Chief Li, now you know what the gunshots were about, right? Deputy Bureau Chief Shi shook his head helplessly. It seems that the other two competitors were forced to leave by the criminals. Director Zhang comforted Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. Bureau Chief Shi, the police car just arrived. I believe that the criminals will be severely punished. Humph, yes. Not only do we have to punish these criminals, but we also have to punish the people behind them. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi coldly pointed his spear at the three real estate companies present. Although Yang Zhen had a guilty conscience, the person he was looking for was Shi Lei, who was a relative of Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. He didn't believe that Deputy Bureau Chief Shi would curse his own relative. Huang Jima felt a little better. He felt that Shi Lei was the local bully and Wang Qing was the dragon that crossed the river. He guessed that it should be Shi Lei and not Wang Qing. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. I was the one who was stopped outside just now. It wasn't the other two competitors who couldn't make it to the scene, Tang Jiu suddenly said. Although I don't know why the other two competitors gave up, I believe that a company with a sense of responsibility wouldn't give up so easily. Tang Jiu's words shocked Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. A girl who didn't flinch in the face of gunshots just now. She didn't even retreat. This was courage. This was true courage. You must be Miss Tang from the Tang Group, right? Deputy Bureau Chief Shi's expression finally eased a little. You are indeed a heroine. I've seen the Tang Group's bid. It's really perfect. Can we talk about it in detail? Hearing this, Yang Zhen and Huang Jima were a little confused. What did this mean? Did it mean that they were directly thrown into the cold palace? Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. The incident just now must have been caused by someone with ulterior motives. I also despise such people. Huang Jima took the initiative to speak first. This way, he directly pointed the spearhead at Yang Zhen. Yang Zhen was dumbfounded. Even when there was no trouble, there was no such thing. Now that there was trouble, he had to bear the blame. Huang Jima, this old bastard, was too shameless. But what they didn't expect was that Deputy Bureau Chief Shi didn't seem to buy it. He didn't even look at Huang Jima. Although he didn't say anything, it gave people a feeling of silent contempt. This was because Deputy Bureau Chief Shi had a prejudice against him. Because Huang Jima had given him a gift, he disliked this kind of person. Yang Zhen couldn't defend himself. Please listen to my explanation, Deputy Bureau Chief Shi. This matter is definitely not my own. The innocent knows that they are innocent. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi interrupted Yang Zhen. If you didn't do it, then you didn't do it. In this society, there are many people who cry thief. I know it very well. This sentence made Huang Jima confused. The meaning couldn't be more obvious. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi's spearhead was on him. It was a form of targeting him. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi, what do you mean? Huang Jima said. So everyone here is a good person, and only I am a bad person? This matter is really not right. Is it because you have a close relationship with these two people, so it is easy for an outsider like me to be disliked? It seems that my face isn't good. President Huang, face is something you fight for yourself. It has nothing to do with others. Deputy Bureau Chief Shi said coldly. If you put too much importance on relationships when doing things, it is better to put your thoughts into doing things. Doing practical things is the most fundamental thing. This is your core competitiveness. Without core competitiveness, no matter how strong the relationship is, there won't be any results. At least, this is the case here. Chapter 1680. Huang Jima's face darkened. These words were obviously directed at him. What was this? Provocation? Were they talking to him? Why? This matter was obviously directed at him. How did he offend this deputy director Shi? Some people are unscrupulous in order to achieve their goals. They try to get close to others, find connections, and play with favors. Actually, these are not important. What's important is strength. Mr. Huang, don't think that Deputy Director Shi will give you extra points just because you have a close relationship with Director Tan. Yang Zhen was proud. He beat around the bush and said, Deputy Director Shi has always been the representative of impartiality. Huang Jima's expression became even uglier. Good on you, Yangjun. You still want to hit me when I'm down? Don't blame me for being impolite. Chief Yang, when you talk about others, you should think about whether you are a clean person. I heard that a bidder who came from afar last night was forced to leave by someone with a gun pointed at his head as soon as he exited the highway. After saying that, Huang Jima looked at Tang Jiu again. I heard that this was done by one of our bidders. Mr. Tang also came from afar. It can't be her. Then it's just the two of us left. Was it you or me? Of course Yangjun didn't admit defeat. Huang Jima, that's enough. I saw that you and Director Tan had a good chat today. Have you happily decided on this matter? Deputy Director, sure. If that's the case, I won't be participating. I'll leave now. There's no fairness. Huang Jima sneered. You think you're qualified to talk about fairness? I'm fair to everyone. I know who's playing tricks better than you. Deputy Director sure said seriously. This is a dignified place. I hope you can be more serious. If you have such an attitude, don't blame me for asking you to leave. Deputy Director, sure. Can you still be fair in this matter? You obviously have a prejudice against me. Huang Jima explained. Mr. Yang's mouth is so incoherent. I only met Director Tan by chance, but he made it sound like I got in through the back door. How can this be a fair competition? Deputy Director sure sneered. Mr. Huang, they don't know whether you got in through the back door or not, but I do. I remember everything that Chief Ten told me. Huang Jima was stunned. What did that mean? Tell him not to worry? Or was it a judgment that he had no chance at all? Huang Jima couldn't understand what he was saying. Director Tan told me that Mr. Huang's company is very strong, and he is serious and responsible in the project. So far, there have been no problems. Deputy Director sure smiled. This is what I need the most. Hearing this, Huang Jima's face instantly revealed a smile. Is that so? Ha ha. Deputy Chief, sure. Director Tan is overpraising me. This is what I should do. Without waiting for Huang Jima to finish speaking, Deputy Bureau Chief sure changed the topic. However, I've also done a thorough investigation. However, the results were different from what Chief Tan had told me. Director Tan said that you haven't had any problems with any projects so far, but I found out that 5 years ago, a stampede occurred because of an elevator collapse in a shopping mall project, and the root cause of the incident was the quality of the elevator. 2 years ago, an outer wall worker of your project fell to his death because of inadequate protective measures. What surprised me even more was that your project actually won the local Luban Award. As far as I know, any project that has any problems is not qualified to compete for this award, right? Deputy Director Sher's words instantly dragged Huang Jima's mood to the bottom. He felt that his head was about to explode. Also, a year ago, you won a dangerous bridge repair project in Jintang City. As a result, the bridge collapsed in February this year. Deputy Director Sher said. Fortunately, it collapsed in the middle of the night. No vehicles or pedestrians passed by, so it didn't cause great damage. Huang Jima took a deep breath. This deputy director sure really didn't give him face. At this time, Director Tan suddenly pushed open the door of the conference room and walked in. No one knew whether he had heard Deputy Director Sher's words or not, but the purpose of his coming in was very obvious. Old Sher, I just thought about it again. It's better to leave this project to President Huang. This time, Director Tan came in directly and said, "Don't talk about things with your information. Who hasn't made a mistake before? I believe that President Huang will definitely be able to do this well." Yang Zhen really wanted to ask how many benefits Director Tan had received from Huang Jima. He came to give a recommendation so openly. Tang Jiu obviously didn't expect things to develop like this. Why did Director Tan jump out halfway? Director Tan. Deputy Director sure didn't seem to care about Director Tan's meaning. Instead, he stood up and retorted, "Indeed, some people have never made a mistake. This is the information I found about the Tang Group. The Tang Group is a group company focused on real estate, and its real estate projects have never had any negative events since its establishment 25 years ago. Whether it's the quality of the houses or the design of the houses, they have advanced awareness." Tang Jiu's eyes lit up. It looked like she still had hope in this bid. As long as Deputy Director Sher allowed them to compete fairly, she wouldn't feel uncomfortable even if she lost. Old Sher, that's enough. Director Tan looked a little impatient. When will you be able to adapt to the circumstances? Director Tan, I don't understand what you mean by adapting to the circumstances. However, I just want to tell you that as a civil servant who eats and uses the country, you have to understand what your mission is and what your responsibilities are. Deputy Director Sher said righteously. Director Tan obviously didn't have much patience. Then let me tell you, your responsibility is the power in your hands. Do you understand? Do you really think that I don't have the power to take back this project just because I handed it to you? Then let me tell you, Director Tan, my responsibility isn't the power in my hands. It's to serve the people. Deputy Director Sher really wasn't afraid of being suppressed by a higher rank. Director Tan pointed at Deputy Director Sher's nose. He was so angry that he couldn't say a word. Huang Zhima hurriedly went forward to calm him down. After a while, Director Tan said, Old Sher, at least you have a backbone. However, I don't need you to be responsible for this matter anymore. You can throw away your lousy information and leave now. I'll personally take care of this matter. After all, Director Tan was the leader. He had the power to give such an order. Tang Jiu's heart instantly turned cold. Yang Zhen didn't expect anything at this time. He just watched the show with a bitter expression. If Director Tan took over this matter, he wouldn't have any hope at all. Then, what was the point of playing? If he had known this would happen, he would have hugged Director Tan's thigh. Then, he wouldn't have let Huang Zhima take advantage of him. At this time, Huang Zhima was the most pleased. He who was like a dead fish just now, suddenly became lively and lively. He poured water for Director Tan, and calmed him down. They were as intimate as they could be. Director Tan, I'm afraid you can't take responsibility for this matter. Deputy Director Sher suddenly said, Before you explain this matter to the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team, your authority should be invalid. Director Tan was stunned. What do you mean? Deputy Director Sher took out a recording pen from his pocket. This is the recording pen that the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team gave me at 8 a.m. this morning. They are now in the empty conference room next to us. Because you were late, you didn't see them. The first thing you did when you arrived at the unit was to go to my office and tell me about Mr. Huang. It's all recorded in this recording pen. Director Tan's forehead was sweating. So what? I'm also responsible for my work. Can't I recommend a company that I think is qualified? You don't need to explain this to me. You should go and explain it to the leader of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team. Deputy Director Sher said. God is watching what people do. Director Tan, as an official, you can't forget your roots. When you forget what it means to serve the people, you are no longer worthy of being an official. Chapter 1681. Chief Tan angrily rebuked. Nonsense. You're simply unreasonable. Surnamed Sher, let me tell you, you have to be responsible for your words. I can sue you for slander. You're slandering a state official, so you have to bear legal responsibility. Don't use the leader of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team to scare me. I'm clean, so why would I be afraid of being investigated? That's for the best, Deputy Chief Sher said. We're colleagues, so I really don't want anything to happen to you. You've made a lot of achievements and contributions over the years. To be honest, Chief Tan, I still admire your ability to make decisions on some matters. Chief Tan gritted his teeth and looked at the person in front of him. He cursed in his heart for not saying what he meant. His eyes suddenly stared at the recording pen. Give this to me. I'll go find the leader of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team myself. Deputy Chief Sher quickly put away the recording pen. This was given to me by the leader of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Team. He told me that I have to return this pen to him personally. I can't let anyone touch it, so as to avoid deleting the information inside by mistake. So, I'm sorry, Chief Tan. Am I the kind of villain you're talking about? Will I delete the recording inside? Chief Tan flew into a rage out of humiliation. He looked like he was going to snatch it. I'm just going to send this recording pen to the leader of the discipline inspection and supervision team next door on your behalf. At this moment, the door of the meeting room was pushed open. 5 middle-aged men in suits and leather shoes walked in. The leader smiled and said, "Chief Tan, there's no need to trouble you. You're usually quite busy with work. I'll get this pen myself." Chief Tan's head heated up. He turned around and saw that these people were from the discipline inspection and supervision team arranged by the city. Their ranks were the same as his, but the power in their hands was different from his. They had the power to investigate people, but he only had the obligation to be investigated. "Oh, it turns out to be Director Du. Look at you. What brings you here from so far away?" Wang Yao asked. Chief Tan hurriedly went forward. "If you need anything, give me a call. I'll take care of it immediately. You're so busy every day. Isn't it a waste of time to come here?" "Haha. I really have to come here personally." Director Du was the appointed leader of the Discipline Inspection Commission. He still had a smile on his face as he said, "If I didn't come, I wouldn't be able to bear the responsibility if this recording pen was accidentally broken or something." Chief Tan put on a fake smile. "Chief Du, do you want some tea?" "No need." Director Du said lightly. "Director Tan, since I'm here, I'll explain the situation to you. It's not that I'm targeting you personally. It's just that last night, we received a report from the masses saying that there were government officials entering and exiting a high-class clubhouse, so I arranged for someone to investigate. In the end, the government official that was reported by the masses was you, Chief Tan. Therefore, as the leader of the Commission for Discipline Inspection, I must conduct a series of investigations on you." Chief Tan's mind buzzed. He had gone to that high-class clubhouse with Huang Jima yesterday. No one knew? Who would report him? Moreover, that place was so hidden. How could anyone have seen it? What the hell was going on? "Director Tan, I know you must want to know who the informant is now. I can understand your feelings, but we have the obligation to keep the informant's secret. Therefore, we really can't tell you about this matter," Director Du said. "Now please accept our investigation." Chief Tan glared fiercely at Deputy Director Shi. Old Shi, I really didn't expect that you, the most honest person for so many years, would be so insidious behind my back. You set a trap for me, right? Okay, let's wait and see. Director Tan, don't wrongly accuse a good person. Ha ha ha, Deputy Director Shi is only assisting me in my investigation. Isn't scolding him the same as scolding me? Director Du's words were neither warm nor angry. Director Du, please don't take it to heart. I really didn't mean to scold you. Chief Tan hurriedly explained. This matter, I just feel that a villain is plotting against me. Deputy Director Shi's temper was obviously not so easy to bully. He snorted coldly. If I wanted to report you, there are many things I could report you for. Why would I wait until now to use such a broken opportunity? Director Tan, on account of our relationship as colleagues, I've reminded you many times to pay attention to your style, but you've always ignored my words. If something happens, don't blame others. Think more about whether it's your own fault. After that, Deputy Director Shi handed the recording pen to Director Du of the Discipline Inspection and Supervision Group. Director Du, I still have things to do here. If there is anything I can help with, I will definitely do my best to help. But now, these bosses who are bidding for our affordable housing construction are here. I think it is not good to delay their time. It is indeed not good. I am sorry, everyone. Director Du smiled and said, Then you can continue. I will not disturb you. After that, Director Du glanced at Director Tan. Let's go. Let's go next door and have a good talk about your problem. Director Tan's heart was like dead ashes, but he could only force a smile and leave with Director Du. Huang Jima also slumped down. His backing was completely gone. This affordable housing project had also completely said goodbye to him. Yang Zhen's heart was bursting with joy. Huang Jima's bootlicking had completely hit the nail on the head. He was directly kicked to death. CEO Huang, do you want to drink some water? You don't look too good. Yang Zhen added insult to injury. Why don't you go to the hospital quickly? Don't have any problems with your body. Although earning money is important, Your body is the capital of revolution. Don't ruin your health because of earning money. Huang Zhimo resisted the trembling of his internal organs and replied with a smile. CEO Yang, don't be too happy too early. The one who laughs last is the winner. Did you hear that someone fired a gun outside just now? Who do you think did it? Haha. I have already asked my people to call the police. We don't know who is in bigger trouble yet. Yang Zhen gritted his teeth and didn't say another word. Indeed, the person who fired the gun was more likely to be Shirley. After all, he was the local tyrant. Deputy Bureau Chief sure didn't want to listen to these two people's nonsense. He directly said to Tang Jiu, Miss Tang, I have seen the Tang Corporation's plan. You have even planned for 30% of the area to be green. It really surprised me. Yes, it's like this, Deputy Bureau Chief, sure. Now we have to talk about the floor area ratio. Tang Jiu said confidently. The floor area ratio refers to the gross density of the building area. It refers to the ratio of the total floor area to the land area of a residential area. For us developers, the floor area ratio determines the proportion of the land cost of the building. For the residents, the floor area ratio directly affects the comfort level of their residents. Then what is the Tang Corporation's plan? Deputy Bureau Chief Sure continued. A good residential area should have a floor area ratio of no more than 5% for high-rise residential areas, no more than 3% for multi-story residential areas, and no less than 30% green space. However, due to the restriction of the land cost, not all projects can be done. Tang Jiu said, perhaps many people think that affordable housing is affordable housing, so there is no need to consider these. As long as it is livable and of good quality, it is fine. However, I don't think so. Why? Deputy Bureau Chief sure was stunned. Even he considered that as long as it was livable and of good quality, it was fine. Tang Jiu said, because a perfect plan can take into account both the land cost and the comfort level of the residents. Affordable housing is a government project, so there is no need to consider the land cost. Therefore, I should consider the comfort level of the residents. Although my costs will be higher this way, it will allow the residents to live more comfortably. Good. Well said. Deputy Bureau Chief sure clapped his hands. He took out the plans of Tang Jiu, Yang Zhen, and Huang Zhima. Only Tang Jiu had considered this problem. What did this mean? It meant that the Tang Corporation was more attentive. It meant that the Tang Corporation was considering the benefits of the residents, not their own costs. Deputy Bureau Chief sure had already decided who to give this project to. Chapter 1682. Deputy Director Sure, it's impossible for you to cooperate with me. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Huang Zhima sneered with self-mockery. If I knew this, I wouldn't have wasted so much time on this project. Deputy Director Sure, you're too serious. It's just an affordable housing. Why do you have to check it out? Haha. Just treat it as me being a free bidder. Deputy Director sure didn't have time to waste on Huang Zhima. He just said two words lightly, I won't see you out. Huang Zhima snorted and stood up unhappily. He called the two project managers and two assistants behind him and said, Let's go, Deputy Director Sure. Oh no, Director Tan, after this setback, you will be Director Sure from now on. Ha, Director Sure has asked us to leave. We'd better hurry up and leave. We'll be disgraced if we stay here. Just as Huang Zhima was about to leave, the door of the conference room was knocked again. Please come in. Although Deputy Director Sure spoke politely, his brows were furrowed. Why was it so noisy today? A good bid was interrupted again and again. He was indeed a little disgusted. After all, it was disturbing and delaying his work. However, when a few policemen pushed the door open and entered, Deputy Director Sure's eyebrows instantly relaxed. Obviously, the police's visit must be important. Compared to this, Deputy Director Sure would of course put his own matters aside first. He quickly stood up. Police comrade, you guys are? The leading policeman could see that Deputy Director Sure was a leader. He also said politely, Sorry to disturb your bid. You're Deputy Director Sure, right? Yes. Deputy Director Sure nodded. Then we're in the right place. The leading policeman said. Today, there was a shooting in front of the intersection of your Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau. I believe you heard the sound. According to the confession of the suspect, the mastermind behind the shooting is participating in the bid for affordable housing in Qingdao City. That's why I came here. Hearing this, Yang Zhen was stunned on the spot. No way. Was Shirley only capable of this? He only fired one shot and was arrested. And he even confessed that he was involved? In an instant, Yang Zhen's face turned ashen. His heart was filled with hatred and regret. Seeing Yang Zhen's stiff expression, Huang Jima felt a lot better even though he had lost the bid. Chief Yang, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. Ha ha ha. It seems that the final winner today is neither you nor me, but President Tang of the Tang Group. Yang Zhen's face flushed red, but he couldn't say a word. It was too late for regrets. Life is always full of ups and downs. It's inevitable to encounter all kinds of difficulties. However, as a man, you must hold on. Although Huang Jima wasn't in a good mood, he still felt very good after getting his psychological balance. The leading policeman suddenly said to Huang Jima, "You just said that this gentleman is President Yang, and that lady is President Tang. So you are President Huang Jima?" Police comrade, I dare not call you Boss Huang. Just call me Old Huang. Nice to meet you. How do you know me? Huang Jima felt that his face was bright. If the police knew him, it meant that his reputation was not bad. The leading policeman said to the two young men behind him, "Okay, cuff him and take him away." Seeing the two young policemen cuff Huang Jima's hands, the people behind Huang Jima were dumbfounded. They didn't understand what was going on. Huang Jima, who was cuffed, was also dumbfounded. He said to the leading policeman, "Police comrade, are you arresting me? I'm Huang Jima, he's Yang Zhen. Are you mistaken?" Yang Zhen was also a little confused by what was happening. Why were Huang Jima cuffed? "That's right. We're here to arrest you, Huang Jima," the leading policeman said. Just now the suspect, Wang Qing, who fired the gun outside, has already said that he is a hitman you hired outside. As for his motive, it's not convenient for me to say it here. I believe everyone here knows. So I won't waste everyone's time. Please come with me and explain the matter clearly. Huang Jima was really breaking down. Was this Wang Qing an idiot? What kind of IQ was this? This place wasn't even his own territory, and he dared to open fire. Was his brain damaged by the door? And what right did he have to confess to him? What the F***ck was going on? He had already taken the money. Couldn't he betray the owner? This Wang Qing was too unscrupulous. And the few of you, go with your boss and assist in the investigation. The leading policeman said, "As for you, I won't let them cuff you. After all, it's not good to walk out with this thing. You should cooperate and don't do anything irrational." The police had already spoken. Who dared to be rash? They obediently lowered their heads and followed behind Huang Jima. Huang Jima really wanted to cry. "Police comrade, listen to me. I don't know that Wang Qing. He must have wronged me. This underworld is sinister. Someone is deliberately framing me. Whether someone is framing you or not, you will know after you go back and do the investigation with us," the leading policeman said coldly. The leader of the police said coldly, "If you don't cooperate with our work, then you'll be punished even more." "I will cooperate. I am very willing to cooperate. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it." Huang Jima didn't dare to talk back. He sighed and was taken away by the police. "I'm sorry to disturb and trouble everyone," the leading policeman said before he left. Deputy Bureau Chief sure was full of praise for this kind of behavior. Society needs people like you to protect the people. On behalf of myself and my colleagues in the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development, I thank you on behalf of the people of Qingdao. When dealing with such vicious criminals, you must punish them severely. Serving the people, of course. The leading policeman chuckled and left after saying that. Deputy Bureau Chief sure was very emotional. There were many people like them in their circle. They served the people their whole lives. If all the officials, people in power, and government workers in Huaxia could be like them, he believed that Huaxia would be even more prosperous. Yang Zhen was drenched in cold sweat. He had even forgotten to mock Huang Zhima before he was taken away. He had even scolded him indirectly and humiliated him. People like him deserve to be arrested. It's unfair competition, Yang Zhen said with a guilty conscience. As he spoke, he secretly glanced at Tang Jiu. He couldn't understand. Did Shirley not do anything? What was going on? He couldn't figure it out at all. However, Yang Zhen had arranged for his subordinates outside. He gave his assistant a look and the assistant immediately sent a message to ask about the situation outside. Soon he received a reply saying that Shirley was shot. It was that Wang Qing who shot him. Yang Zhen couldn't believe it. Shirley was beaten up in his territory. Was there any justice in this world? That Wang Qing must be a hothead. Director Yang, I've looked through your proposal in detail. Deputy Bureau Chief sure suddenly changed the topic. However, in terms of the area ratio, your consideration was not as thorough as Miss Tang's. Yes, I admit that my consideration of the area ratio was not thorough enough. However, I still feel that there is no need to consider such things for affordable housing. Yang Zhen said, Deputy Bureau Chief, sure, think about it. People who apply for affordable housing are people who can't afford to buy a house, who would have the time to consider the area ratio, who would have the time to care about whether there is greenery in the area. Don't you think so? Since it's affordable housing, I feel that it should be based on the benefits. Chapter 1683. CEO Yang, are you saying that low-income families can't pursue quality of life? Shouldn't they have greenery and public areas where they live? Tang Jiu retorted, I would like to ask, are human rights divided into different classes? Yang Zhen's mood was much more relaxed now. He was able to respond easily. No, I didn't say that. Human rights are not divided into different classes. But in this society, there are differences in status. Why can the rich afford to live in a seaside villa, but the poor can only apply for affordable housing? Do you think there is no difference? But that doesn't mean that low-income families who can only live in affordable housing can't have greenery and public facilities. Tang Jiu said, this is something that every community should have, even if it's an affordable housing. Yang Zhen was not convinced. Mr. Tang, you're thinking too simply. Do you know how much more money would be needed to build an affordable housing community according to the planning and construction of a perfect community, complete with greenery and public facilities? Do you know how much effort is needed? This is all about cost control. But no matter how much you invest, you don't need future applicants for affordable housing to pay for it. Tang Jiu said, they won't feel the pressure of cost. But we developers have it. Yang Zhen said, we have to pay for it. CEO Tang, this is affordable housing, not commercial housing. You also know that these things can't be added to the residents, right? Then this money, are you thinking of your Tang enterprise will pay for it? Tang Jiu nodded seriously. Of course. This is an affordable housing. It's to provide security for low-income families. Although it's also a commercial housing, as a developer, you should understand that this project isn't about making money. But we are businessmen, not philanthropists. This is such a big affordable housing community. Do you know how much your words will increase the cost? In Yang Zhen's eyes, Tang Jiu had changed from a strong career woman to a crazy woman. Tang Jiu looked at Yang Zhen helplessly. The country supports you, gives you subsidies, and even gives you a piece of land in the commercial district. They don't treat the developer badly at all. The developers can compensate for the loss of the affordable housing through subsidies, and the land in the commercial district given by the city. It's not a loss at all. Yang Zhen was speechless. If that's the case, you won't be able to earn any money. If you don't earn any money, you'll be losing time. You'll be wasting your efforts on two projects, and you'll end up with one going in and one going out. There's no profit at all. Why do you want to do this project? This is a project that benefits both the country and the people. Many people also think that this is a project that will bring both fame and fortune. Tang Jiu said, but our Tang Corporation only cares about fame and fortune, not profit. Or rather, we don't care about the title. We just want to do a project that benefits the country and the people. Yang Zhen was really at a loss for words. The other party came with the attitude of not earning money. What's there to compete for? The Tang Corporation started out in real estate, so I feel that after so many years, it's time for us to do something to give back to society. Tang Jiu said, besides, no matter how you look at it, you can still make a profit in the end, because the land in the business district given by the city is really a prime location. Yang Zhen admitted that they could make a profit, but it was not worth it to worry so much and take on such a huge responsibility to earn that little bit of money. It was really not worth it. The effort and return were not proportional. If they did not take the opportunity to make a few $100 million from this project, what was the point of doing it? One must know that for this project, he had asked Shirley to cut off $20 million worth of his flesh. If he followed Tang Jiu's plan, he could only make $30 to $50 million at most. Miss Tang, I really didn't expect you to think so much for the people and the country. Deputy Bureau Chief sure started to admire Tang Jiu. He had worked in the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development for so many years, but he had never seen such a developer. I'm also thinking for myself, Deputy Bureau Chief sure. If I can't get anything from this project, I won't waste my efforts. Tang Jiu was very honest. But while I can get fame and fortune, if I don't put the interests of the people first, then I'll be wrong. This kind of money, even if I earn it, will burn my hands. In today's society, who would be afraid of burning their hands with too much money? Yang Zhen could not understand Tang Jiu's thoughts. He shook his head and said, Miss Tang, I'm really not at your level. If you want to use this kind of method to compete, then I have no need to compete with you. You're giving up your interests to compete. This is called fair competition? Whether or not you choose to give up your interests, it's your own choice. Of course it's fair competition. Deputy Bureau Chief sure frowned. And I think Miss Tang is right. It's really hot to make money from this kind of project. Yang Zhen was speechless. He looked at the two unreasonable people and shook his head. Sorry, I can't do that. If that's the case, I'll withdraw. Your Tang Corporation will take this project. Miss Tang, I can guarantee that you'll regret it. I, Tang Jiu, have never regretted anything I do, Tang Jiu said coldly. It's all thanks to Brother Lei that I can come here today. Mr. Yang, I know that Brother Lei was hired by you to stop me from entering the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. But he got shot because he wanted me to come to the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development safely. I think you shouldn't be so calculative about some things. Otherwise, you and Huang Zhima will be the same. Yang Zhen was stunned. Tang Jiu knew Shirley. Shirley got shot because he wanted her to compete with him. What kind of medicine was Shirley selling in his gourd? The Brother Lei you're talking about is? Deputy Bureau Chief sure was surprised. Yang Zhen threw caution to the wind and admitted it. He's your relative, Shirley. Deputy Bureau Chief sure. I wanted to ask Brother Lei to help me connect with you, but he refused. He was afraid that he would ruin your reputation. But he owed me a favor, so he had no choice but to help me settle the matter. But now, it seems that the matter isn't settled. I'm even going to be arrested. Humph, what a joke. Miss Tang, was he really shot? Deputy Bureau Chief sure asked with concern. Tang Jiu nodded. It was obvious that they were relatives. Yes, but Deputy Bureau Chief sure, don't worry. It's only his shoulder. Luckily, my friend arrived in time and resolved the conflict. He should be in the hospital now. As long as the wound is treated in time, I believe that he won't be in any danger. Deputy Bureau Chief sure, Miss Tang, I withdraw. You should be able to settle this matter happily. As for me, I'll go to the hospital to visit Brother Lei. Yang Zhen said unhappily. No matter what, he got hurt because of me. I'm a man of principle. Director Yang. Deputy Bureau Chief sure said with difficulty. Can you help me pass on a message? Deputy Bureau Chief sure. No, Bureau Chief sure, Bureau Chief Tan will step down immediately. You'll be working under the Bureau Chief soon. If you have anything to say, just tell me, Yang Zhen said. Although I can't do this, we'll definitely work together in the future. If you want to say anything to Brother Lei, I'll pass it on word for word. Deputy Bureau Chief sure sighed. Just tell him that I'm a little busy these days. I'll find time to visit him when I'm free. Since I know about this matter, he shouldn't hide it from me. I'll call him later. Yang Zhen nodded. Then I'll leave. You guys can talk about the details. Yang Jun stood up and left with his men. When he said that he was going to the hospital to visit Brother Lei, he meant it. It wasn't just an excuse. In fact, Tang Jie was worried about Su Yun. But Deputy Bureau Chief sure was a serious person. If she didn't explain the matter clearly, she couldn't leave. Tang Jie could only put down all her worries and discuss the affordable housing matter with Deputy Bureau Chief Sure in detail. Chapter 1684. Su Yun, who was taken to the police station, was definitely given special attention. At that time, someone at the scene secretly took a video of the scene. After the police saw it, they were shocked for a long time before confirming that the video was not made with special effects. Naturally, Su Yun would receive unusual attention. Tell me your name, age, and home address. The police officer in charge of investigating Su Yun's identity said, What industry do you work in? Why did you appear at the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development? Tell me everything in detail. Police comrade, this should be considered as acting bravely for a just cause, right? And such a detailed record? Su Yun was startled. Why did he feel like he was being interrogated? This feeling wasn't very comfortable. The police officer smiled embarrassedly. I'm just making a record. These are all procedures. Don't be nervous. I also know that you're acting bravely for a just cause, so don't worry. There's an old saying, the innocent knows the innocent. It's nothing. Just say it. Okay, as long as you know that I'm acting bravely for a just cause. Su Yun. Then I'll be called Lei Feng or Wei Chen. Wait, what do you mean? Lei Feng? Wei Chen? I didn't ask you to do a good deed without leaving your name. What do you mean by doing this? The police officer frowned. Speak properly. Hurry up. It's good for both of us. Su Yun. I don't want to leave my name when doing a good deed. I'm 25 years old and have no home address. Now I'm living in a movie hotel and working in the entertainment and media industry. It's a coincidence that I appeared at the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. Is this detailed enough? My friend, do you have something to say? You don't dare to say your name? The police officer looked at Su Yun suspiciously. Su Yun shook his head. I'm just doing a good deed without leaving my name. It's fine if you don't leave your name to the outside world. This is a police station. You have to follow our rules. The police officer became serious. Also, let me tell you, what you said is suspicious. Why don't you have a home address? Even a cat or a dog has a home. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Then where should he say his home address? The house in the Golden Coast Garden District hadn't been settled yet. Was he supposed to give him the address of the Dragon Brigade? Long-term stay in a hotel. You're really rich. You even have a movie hotel. The policeman's laughter was a little cold. Are you bullying us ordinary office workers because we haven't been to such a high-class place? Let me tell you, even if I haven't been there, I know the price of a 5-star hotel. The most ordinary room costs 4 digits a night. Do you live in that kind of place for a long time? Was money a hot potato? Won the lottery? Without waiting for Su Yun to explain, the police officer threw the pen in his hand onto the table. Xiaojian, I'll pretend. Tell the truth. I'm not lying. Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm really staying at the movie hotel. I'm in the entertainment media industry, so the hotel is also mine. That hotel is also yours. What are you talking about? The police officer was stunned. Do you need me to emphasize to you again that this is a police station, not a place for you to make up stories? Don't make up stories for me. I'm being polite to you because you're a good Samaritan. If you continue to be so unreliable, I'll have reason to suspect your identity. Su Yun didn't have any tricks up his sleeve. I'm not making up stories for you. I'm not stupid enough to tell such lies. Come on. You're so young and yet you don't learn to be good. You've learned to brag. Of course, the police officer didn't believe him. You're in the entertainment media industry, and you also have a hotel. That Ling Zhiling and Fan Bing are artists under you, right? Ha ha ha, you're making me laugh to death. I think you're in the talk show business. You're full of nonsense. While the two of them were discussing whether Su Yun was in the entertainment media industry or in the talk show business, there was a sudden commotion outside. The police officer in the room was a little confused. What happened? Wait a moment, I'll see what's going on. The police officer got up and said to Su Yun. When he opened the door to the interrogation room, he was also dumbfounded. A cold and arrogant woman exuded a faint murderous aura. Although this murderous aura made people uncomfortable, this woman was too stunning. It was simply shocking. However, this wasn't what surprised him the most. What surprised him the most was that behind this cold and arrogant woman were Ling Jiling and Fan Bing, whom he had just mentioned in the office. Su Yun looked back. Why did Cho Yun bring them here? What was going on? Of course, this was all thanks to Tang Jiu. After knowing that Su Yun wouldn't be able to get away with it, Tang Jiu called Cho Yun before she stepped into the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development and explained the situation. He wanted Cho Yun to understand the situation as soon as possible. If anything happened to Su Yun, she could bail him out immediately. During this period of time, Cho Yun had fallen in love with acting for some reason. Every day, she would accompany Fan Bing to recover and let Fan Bing teach her some simple acting knowledge. Then, the two of them continued to study various Hollywood blockbusters, and their relationship soared. This should be Cho Yun's best mood after Guogua chose to leave, so Su Yun didn't stop her enthusiasm to learn acting from Fan Bing. Coincidentally, Ling Jiling also came to Qingdao today. She didn't come to Qingdao to see Su Yun. Su Yun was too busy. She came to see Fan Bing. She had heard about Fan Bing's situation and knew that it wasn't easy for her. Although the two of them had been competing for the title of Sky Entertainment's top actress, they had been competing for it. However, this kind of perennial competition also made the two of them feel a sense of appreciation for each other. Besides, why would a woman make things difficult for another woman? Ling Jiling had been busy with filming. Now that she finally had some free time, she came directly to Qingdao to see Fan Bing. However, before she could finish a glass of water at Fan Bing's house, Cho Yun received a call from Tang Jiu. Su Yun had made a move. None of them could sit still. After Cho Yun quickly understood the situation, she immediately brought the two of them to Su Yun. Mr. Su, are you okay? Are you hurt? Fan Bing rushed in and carefully looked at Su Yun. Ling Jiling also walked to Su Yun's side. She looked left and right. Mr. Su, can't you let us be less worried? Why are you involved in all kinds of dangerous things? Do you know that we were almost scared to death when we heard about the situation? Cho Yun knew that Su Yun was fine. She didn't say anything. Instead, she said to the policeman who was questioning Su Yun, "Comrade, this is Sky Entertainment's Mr. Su Yun. If he's not suspected of any crime, I hope you won't waste his time. If there's anything you want to talk about, we can hire a lawyer to talk to you in detail." This big brother policeman was already frightened by the bright light. Was this young man really the big boss of an entertainment media company? Was this really Ling Jiling and Fan Bing? His heart really couldn't take it. He really looked down on them. This seems to be a misunderstanding. The policeman didn't know how to explain. At this time, the commotion caused by the arrival of the two goddesses at the police station also alarmed the new bureau chief who had just been in office for 3 days. As the saying goes, a new broom sweeps clean. The management was already very strict. Yet everyone came out to see the goddesses during working hours. Even the tough women in the unit didn't care about their work. Naturally, the new bureau chief was very unhappy. The new bureau chief directly walked to the scene and decided to settle the matter. When everyone saw the new bureau chief coming, they quickly left and returned to their workstations. Misunderstanding? What misunderstanding? Since we've encountered this situation, we need to record it in detail. The new bureau chief said seriously. No matter if the other party is a big boss or an ordinary person, they have to go through this process. This is the standard procedure. It can't be broken. Hearing this familiar voice, Su Yun couldn't sit still. He ran out of the interrogation room and looked at the serious new bureau chief. He grinned. "Bureau Chief Chun, why is it you? When did you arrive at Qingdao?" Chapter 1685. The new director was not an outsider. He turned out to be Qin Waner's old boss in Hudong, Director Qin Wei. Director Qin knew Su Yun quite well. It was all thanks to Su Yun that he was able to solve such a big case in Hudong. He was transferred to Qingdao because of his outstanding achievements in Hudong. Although his position remained the same, the difference in the city still raised Director Chen's rank to a higher level. Why are you here? Qin Wei was also quite shocked. After all, there had just been a shooting on the street. As a director, he had to provide an explanation for this matter. He had been busy in the office just now and did not have time to understand this brave young man. If it were not for the sudden appearance of the three goddesses and the commotion in the police station, Qin Wei would still be busy at this time. He was making a ban on guns and was determined to eliminate all the guns and devices circulating in society in Qingdao as soon as possible. This was bound to be a very difficult task, but Qin Wei still decided to do his best. As a director of the police force, he was bound to be responsible for the safety of the people. Therefore, Qin Wei would not be soft-hearted in the face of this matter. Chief Qin, I'm the one who asked you this first. Su Yun looked quite excited. You knew that I was in Qingdao. Why didn't you tell me that you were transferred to Qingdao? As a junior, I have to give you a welcome dinner. Qin Wei laughed. No, please don't. Now the whole country is focusing on the party, the government, and the spiritual civilization. If a big boss like you gives me a banquet, it will directly push me into the limelight. Ha ha. The policeman who was in charge of interrogating Su Yun was completely dumbfounded. After all this time, this young man was really a big boss in the entertainment industry. Moreover, he had such a close relationship with their new director. Fortunately, he did not flaunt his power and abuse his power just now. Otherwise, he would have been in serious trouble. Director Chen, is this your friend? Yes, Xiaodu, go do other things. I will take responsibility for him. I know this young man better than any of you. Chen Wei's mood was obviously very good. The unhappiness from before was also alleviated by Su Yun's appearance. When I was in Hudong, Su Yun made a great contribution to the stability of society. However, he liked to do good deeds without leaving a name behind. In the end, all the credit was given to me. I took too much advantage of him. Ha ha ha. Otherwise, I would not have been transferred to Qingdao. Director Chen, since he is your friend, I will leave first. Ha ha ha. This is a misunderstanding. Ha ha. Mr. Su, if I said anything, please don't take it to heart. Officer Du smiled and said, You guys talk first. I will get you a glass of water. Chen Wei waved his hand, indicating that Xiaodu should not take this matter to heart. Su Yun is not a petty person. If you said something unreliable just now, he won't hold it against you. Go, pour a few glasses of water first. Yes, right away. After saying that, Xiaodu went to get some water. All his colleagues were envious of him, because he could get the chance to get water for goddesses like Ling Jiling and Fan Bing. In the future, it would be a topic for Xiaodu to talk about at the dinner table. Su Yun said to Qin Wei embarrassedly, Director Chen, I have caused you trouble again. You don't sound right. Ha ha ha. How can you say that you're giving me trouble? Qin Wei said, I understand when I see you. If you were not at the scene, this matter would have been blown out of proportion. If a life was really lost, I, as the new director, would have received a big gift. Su Yun was a little embarrassed. If I had taken action earlier, this situation would not have happened. Someone fired a gun. This matter will definitely affect you. If you had taken action earlier, then no one would have known that he had a gun. Qin Wei said, Whether I would have been affected or not is a matter of time. However, if this gun was taken away by that guy, it might threaten ordinary people in the future. So, you stood up at the right time. Su Yun, what I said is true. I did not mean to comfort you. Su Yun smiled and said, But it's still an injury. Qin Wei smiled faintly. I have roughly understood the basic situation. According to the witnesses at the time, you who acted bravely for a just cause, had a good relationship with the person who was shot. You should be friends. Su Yun nodded. Su Yun, don't blame me for being too straightforward. Qin Wei said, I don't treat you as an outsider, so I am speaking to you so bluntly. Your friend Shirley, has a lot of power in Qingdao. For me, such a person is very dangerous. His background is not clean. If you ask me, he deserves to be beaten." Seeing that Su Yun did not have much reaction, Chen Wei continued, "Of course, I know that people who can be friends with you must have their strengths and strengths. As for this Shirley, I don't have any evidence to prove that he is involved in violent society. So, I won't do anything for now. If you have the chance, pass a message to him. Tell him to be careful and not let me get hold of any evidence." Su Yun knew that Chen Wei was not joking. Even if he knew that Shirley and Su Yun were friends, if Shirley touched the red line, he would not show any mercy. What happened today had obviously aroused Chen Wei's interest in the violent gangs involved in Qingdao. So once someone dared to touch the red line, Chen Wei would definitely carry out a strict crackdown. Today's gunshot might be the trigger for Chen Wei's crackdown on the Guqin Island. "Director Chen, I will pass on your message," Su Yun said faintly. "Don't worry, I won't touch the red line that shouldn't be touched." "Of course I don't worry about you. If you want to crack down on those people, you can do it even harder than me." Chen Wei had no doubt about this. "Actually, I know what you think. That's why I said those words to you. I believe that even in Qingdao, if I am in trouble, you will still help me." Su Yun smiled and nodded. "Director Chen, is this the end?" Ling Jiling was worried. "If it's over, we want to leave as soon as possible. Although we were very careful when we came here, we were still afraid that the entertainment reporters would notice us. If the media knew that Su Yun was here, there would definitely be people who would maliciously create hype, which would affect Sky Entertainment, so? Yes, that is indeed the case. You are all public figures. Coming to our place will indeed give some people a chance to stir up trouble." Chen Wei stood up and said, "Then I won't keep you. Su Yun, after I finish my work, I will treat you to a meal to show my gratitude." "Ha ha ha. I should be the one to welcome you, Director Chen," Su Yun said. At this time, Officer Du came over with a glass of water. Come, drink some water." "No, thank you." Ling Jiling's smile almost killed Officer Du. "Then we will leave first." Fan Bing also felt that they should leave as soon as possible. It was dangerous to stay here for too long. Chen Wei smiled. "I won't see you off. You don't look like you want to be noticed." Then Chen Wei said to Officer Du, "Xiao Du, go and tell everyone not to watch the show. Everyone should work hard during working hours." "Yes," Officer Du said seriously. Chapter 1686. Su Yun and the others left without a hitch. Shirley, who had his wounds treated in the hospital, quickly completed the investigation record of the incident. This made Shirley a little surprised because he had just heard that there was a new leader in the Qingdao police station. It was reasonable to say that the new leader should take advantage of this opportunity to give himself a hard blow. But this matter ended just like that. Wang Qing was unlucky. Strictly according to the criminal law, he was guilty of illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. Just this point alone was enough to sentence him to 3 years of imprisonment, criminal detention, or public surveillance. If the circumstances were serious, he would be sentenced to 3 years of imprisonment and 7 years of imprisonment. There was a difference between illegal possession and private possession. The difference was in the objective aspect. The former manifested in the possession of a gun, or in other ways openly possessing a gun, while the latter manifested in the act of privately concealing a gun. The former was done in a public way, while the latter was done in a secret way. Obviously, Wang Qing definitely possessed and publicized it, so his case was more serious. More importantly, he opened fire on the street. What was the nature of this? This was endangering social and public safety. He was directly charged with endangering social and public safety. And he even injured people. This was a serious case. Wang Qing's case was obviously intentional homicide. It was just an attempted homicide. With a series of characteristics piled up, he could be sentenced to life imprisonment directly. Unless he could find a good lawyer to work hard, he might be able to change his sentence from life imprisonment to more than 10 years of imprisonment. However, in today's society, there should be no lawyer willing to do such a wicked thing. Lawyers who helped the bad guys in court didn't have a good ending in the end. They were either dead or disabled. Many of them had unexpected misfortunes. To put it simply, this was called retribution. Those who did bad things would get retribution sooner or later. And those who protected the bad guys would also get retribution. Lawyers who fought lawsuits to make money and let the bad guys escape punishment would also get retribution. This kind of behavior not only harmed society, but also encouraged the criminals to be arrogant. Many lawyers should understand the simplest truth. The whip of the law was to punish the bad guys, not to find loopholes to help the bad guys. Huang Zhima, the behind-the-scenes boss who spent money to hire them, would obviously be implicated. He didn't have the time to think about the affordable housing project now. It was better to think about how to get himself off the hook. He really didn't expect Wang Qing to be so rash. If he knew that Wang Qing was so rash, he definitely wouldn't have asked him to help with this matter. All of this would definitely make Shirley very happy, but after that, Shirley felt that he had to give Su Yin an explanation. No matter what he did in the end, he did get someone to block Tangjiu's car, and tried to make her retreat. If this matter was not explained clearly, Shirley's heart would not be able to resolve it. After the police left, Shirley thought about this problem in the hospital. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. He wanted to leave the hospital and look for Su Yin. At this moment, Yang Zhen found the ward and came in empty-handed. Clearly, Yang Zhen wasn't here to visit the patient. He didn't even bring anything with him. Brotherly, how did things turn out like this? Yang Zhen looked at Shirley with a fake smile on his face. Are you okay? Are your injuries serious? Shirley was a little surprised. Shouldn't you be bidding at the Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau now? Why are you here? Didn't I hear that you were injured? No matter how serious the matter is, it can't be compared to this. Yang Zhen's words were hypocritical to the extreme, but what he said next was the truth. When I heard about this matter, I was scared to death. I don't have any confidence in my heart. Shirley shook his head. It's just a small injury. It's not a big deal. You coming here means you're giving up on the affordable housing project? Hearing Shirley's words, Yang Zhen's face was a little helpless. That Tang Corporation's president Tang is gone. What chance do I have to compete? If I don't give up, I'll just be waiting to be humiliated. Shirley could hear the complaint in Yang Zhen's words. This is a fair competition. With President Yang's strength, you won't give up before it even starts, right? If it's a fair competition, I might not lose. Yang Zhen said. But Tang Corporation didn't consider the benefits of the affordable housing project. Tell me, how can I compete? I can't not consider the benefits. To put it bluntly, he couldn't bear to give up on earning money. Hearing Yang Zhen's words, Shirley understood. Old Yang, I really don't know how to comfort you. But I think, how much money does it take to earn more? It's okay to earn less. I want to earn less, but I have to earn that 20 million, right? Yang Zhen pretended to say unintentionally. That Tian Entertainment's president Su bought a villa here, and I lost so much money. I've been feeling unwell lately, so I'm thinking about this project. No matter what, I have to. Yang Zhen kept talking. Shirley was completely silent. He didn't say a word, and he didn't have any expression. Brotherly, that's not what I meant. Since Yang Zhen had already said so, there was no need to continue. He just wanted to tell Shirley that he still owed him a favor for this matter. Shirley nodded. Old Yang, I know what you mean. I really don't mean anything else. Yang Zhen quickly waved his hand. Don't think too much. Don't think too much. Brotherly, we're friends and buddies. Don't think too much about the ways of the world. Ha ha. Okay, I came mainly to see you. Seeing that you're fine now, I'm relieved. Thank you, Boss Yang, for your concern. Shirley laughed and thought, dealing with people like you, isn't it just playing the ways of the world? I heard about your matter. I came in a hurry and didn't think to buy anything on the way. Yang Zhen said, Brotherly, don't mind it. I'll ask my family to bring you my collection of 1,000-year-old ginseng and 100-year-old lingji. Let's nourish your body. The body is the capital of the revolution. It's too important. Shirley didn't have the energy to chat with him. He just waved his hand. Don't be so polite. I don't need to nourish my body. I'll have a good night's sleep, and I'll be a good man the next day. That's good, Yongjin said. Then Brother Lei, Director sure asked me to pass a message to you. He still has work to do. When he's done, he'll come to see you. He'll call you. Shirley stared. How did he know? Isn't it because the police took Huang Jima away? Yongjin pointed this out. Obviously, he had an ulterior motive. If Tang Jiu couldn't get in, the project wouldn't have been snatched away. That CEO Tang from the Tang Corporation exposed you. She said that you took the bullet because you were protecting her. Shirley took a deep breath. That's right. It's like this. I know that CEO Tang, and the relationship between them, is too complicated. I can't explain it clearly in a short time. If Shirley said that Tang Jiu and Su Yin were related, wouldn't Yongjin go crazy? With his help, Su Yin had used that little bit of money to take away his big villa. Now Su Yin's girl had snatched away such a big economic housing project in front of him that could bring him both fame and fortune. How big of a grudge was this? So he definitely couldn't say it. Old Yang, I owe you a favor. I'll make it up to you when I have the chance. Shirley said. Don't worry. I'm not the kind of person to burn the bridge after crossing it. Yongjin was relieved. Brother Lei, what are you talking about? Aren't you treating me like an outsider? Ha ha ha, you're too polite. Well, I still have something to do. You rest first. I'll come and see you later. Take care. Shirley felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. I won't see you out. Yongjin rejected Shirley's two men's offer to send him off. He hurriedly walked out of the ward and left the hospital. He didn't like hospitals. He felt that everywhere was white and unlucky. Chapter 1687. Get me discharged. I'll leave immediately, Shirley said to his underlings after some consideration. The underling immediately retorted. Brother Lei, the doctor said that you still need to stay in the hospital for observation. You must rest. Otherwise, it will be very bad for your health. You can't leave now. You should wait for the doctor to confirm before leaving. Did someone hit you in the head? Is it damaged? Shirley said as he was about to get out of bed. The wound has already been treated. Why do I have to stay in the hospital? Do you have money? Do you have nowhere to spend it? You still want to stay in the hospital? Let me tell you. Many hospitals don't even care about their integrity to make money. Even a child's cold can make you stay in the hospital and spend 3,000 to 5,000 yuan. Didn't you see the news? Brother, you're different. This is a gunshot wound. There's blood. The underling was sincerely thinking for Shirley's good. He really didn't think much about other things. Haven't you seen blood before? Haven't you been cut? When I was your age, I had already eaten bullets. Take out a pair of tweezers and take some medicine out, Shirley said. I don't have any lingering effects now. It's just that medicine is now advanced and people have become unreasonable. Otherwise, who would come to the hospital for such a small matter? The underling always knew that Brother Lei was good. He was loyal to them, so when he saw Shirley injured, he felt distressed. Brother Lei, if this shot was on me, you wouldn't have to suffer. That's good. Hurry up. Don't dawdle like a woman. Go and do the discharge procedures for me. Shirley said. I still have important things to do. If I don't get this done, I won't feel at ease. I really won't feel at ease. The underling nodded and quickly went to get him discharged. 10 minutes later, he didn't get it done. Instead, he brought a doctor to the ward. Why are you discharged? The doctor didn't have a good temper when he came to the ward. In fact, thinking about it, this was normal. He was as busy as a dog all day long. When he met a patient who didn't listen and act according to common sense, he would naturally be angry. Although this went against his professional training, people always had a temper. Why would there be fights between patients and doctors on the news? A large part of the reason was the doctor's attitude at certain times. If they could remember the words "serve the people" in their hearts, this kind of thing would definitely not have happened. Often, doctors who had conflicts with patients did not communicate with patients in the spirit of serving the people. Instead, they communicated with patients with the mentality of, "You came to the hospital to ask me to do something." If the patient did not have the kind of attitude of asking for help, this kind of doctor would be unhappy, and their attitude would naturally be bad. The truly outstanding doctors who had the heart of a parent and professional ethics would never do such a thing. Obviously, the doctor who came to Shirley's ward was not an excellent doctor, but one who did not have much patience. Doctor Who, you know what's at stake. Why don't you talk to Brother Lay? I don't support his discharge either. Shirley's underling was really humbled to this Doctor Who. One had to know that this person was also a gold medal fighter who shouted at everyone outside. When Doctor Who heard this, he became even angrier. You said that you don't support his discharge. Then why are you looking for me for discharge? You can just tell him that he can't be discharged. I have so many things to deal with. I don't have the time to waste here with you. Yes, yes, yes. When Shirley saw that his underling was reprimanded like a dog in front of Doctor Who, he was unhappy. Doctor Who, according to what you said, your matter is a matter, but my matter is not a matter, right? When Doctor Who heard that Shirley's tone was a little harsh, his arrogance also restrained a little. After all, he also knew that this person who came in after being shot definitely had social connections. I'm doing this for your own good. Do you know what will happen if you don't pay attention to a gunshot wound? Don't lecture me. I know better than you whether a gunshot wound will cause anything. It's not like I've been shot before. Shirley's tone was still harsh. Have you been shot before? Are you going to lecture me here? Obviously, this Doctor Who was a person who bullied the weak and feared the strong. When he saw Shirley's attitude, his arrogance just now completely disappeared. That's fine. Since you want to be discharged, then be discharged. You have experience, so you don't have to look for us doctors. I say, what kind of attitude is this? Didn't I just ask my brother to go and get discharged? If you can King get discharged, then why are you coming to my room and nagging me? Shirley was angry when he saw this kind of person. Your time is so tight, and you have so many things to do. Why are you still wasting time with me? Just go and get the discharge procedures done. Shirley's tone became heavier, and the gunshot wound on his shoulder was also pulled. The huge pain made him unable to help but clench his teeth and frown. Shirley's facial features that didn't seem fierce became distorted because of the huge pain from the wound. It looked quite scary. Doctor Who's heart was also burning with anger, but he didn't dare to say anything. Let's go. I'll take you to do the procedures now. In the end, he could only pull Shirley's underling and quickly leave the ward. Shirley actually felt a lot better after he spat out the unhappiness in his heart. When facing people like that, you can't be nice to them. If you were nice to them, they would fly to the sky. Soon, the discharge procedures were done. Shirley's underling also took a lot of medicine according to the doctor's instructions. Shirley didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Are you stupid? You take whatever medicine I ask you to take? Can you finish it? If you can't finish it, then swallow it all. It's better to be prepared. Shirley's underling laughed. He knew that the boss wouldn't blame him. Shirley went home first. He had to change his clothes to see Su-Yun. When Shirley finished changing his clothes, his phone rang. Shirley picked up the phone and looked. It was Su-Yun calling. This is bad. Shirley's mind was a mess. He still hadn't thought of an explanation. Shirley was in such a hurry to leave the hospital and go home to change his clothes because he wanted to think about how to explain this to Su-Yun. He really didn't know that Tang Jio was the boss of the Tang Group, nor did he know that the Tang Group was participating in the bidding. Otherwise, he definitely wouldn't have played such a trick with Yang Zhen. In the end, Shirley took a deep breath and picked up the phone. Brother Su-Yun. However, Su-Yun didn't give him a chance to explain. Brother Lei, why are you discharged? I just came out of the police station and went straight to the hospital to look for you. You discharged just like that. It's not a joke that your wound is infected. When Shirley heard this, his heart was touched. After everything was over, the first thing that Su-Yun thought of was not to blame him, but to care about his gunshot wound. Just based on this point, if Shirley didn't treat Su-Yun as his brother, it would be inhumane. Brother, I feel even more apologetic that you care so much about me. Shirley's mood was better, but his heart was even more restless. Su-Yun smiled. Why would you feel bad? Where are you? I'll come and look for you. I'll bring you something to see you. Shirley was embarrassed. I'll go look for you. Brother, wait for me in your office. I'll go and look for you to explain this matter. Explain what? Su-yin was stunned. Then he laughed. You're the patient, okay? Why are you looking for me? I'm not the patient. I'm the patient. Hurry up, Brother Lei. Send your address to my phone. I'll hang up first. After that, Su-yin didn't give Shirley a chance to speak again and directly hung up. Shirley pondered for a moment and quickly sent the address to Su-yin. After sending the address to Su-yin, Shirley hurriedly called out to the two men who came home with him. You two, hurry up. Go out and get me some thorns. Chapter 1688. The two lackeys were squatting on the sofa and smoking. When they heard that Brother Lei wanted some thorny sticks, they were confused. Brother Lei, what do you want? Thorny sticks? You mean the kind with thorns? In our hometown, it's called pra seedlings. The other lackey said proudly, You're so uncultured. You don't even know what thorny sticks are. Haha, have you heard of the story of someone bringing a thorny stick to ask for forgiveness? The other lackey said disdainfully, Never heard of it, okay? You're the only one who's cultured. Why are you pretending? You were taught by a chef in elementary school. Do you really think you're Sherlock Holmes? Who doesn't know about thorny sticks? I'm asking Brother Lei why he wants them. Not because I don't know what thorny sticks are. What kind of logic was that? Shirley didn't have time to chat with them. Why are you still squatting there? If you know, hurry up and get out of here and find them. I'm injured, so I can't even speak properly, right? No. We'll go right now. The two men quickly got up from the sofa, put out their cigarettes, and ran out. Su-yin didn't come to find Shirley to criticize him. When he expected Yang Zhen to play tricks, he believed that Shirley wouldn't do anything to stop Tang Jiu. It was just that Wang Qing came out of nowhere and messed things up. Su-yin didn't choose to step in at the beginning because he didn't want Tang Jiu to think that anything she did had something to do with him. That would make Tang Jiu develop a bad mentality. He wanted Tang Jiu to think that she could take care of everything by herself. That was the best way for her and the Tang organization. If Wang Qing hadn't pulled out a gun and ruined everything, the result would have been much better than now. Su-yin knew that Shirley got shot because he was opening a path for Tang Jiu. He did it because of him. So after he finished dealing with the police, he immediately brought the Heaven Fragrance ointment to find Shirley. Although medical drugs were a guarantee to alleviate the injury, there was still a huge gap between them and the Heaven Fragrance ointment used by Su-yin. When Su-yin found Shirley according to the address, someone opened the door. Su-yin was shocked by the scene in front of him. He almost burst out laughing. Shirley was shirtless, exposing his bandaged shoulder. He carried over 10 thick and hard thorns on his back. He stood in front of Su-yin, looking at Su-yin with a serious face. It was as if they were shooting a movie. However, Su-yin was not a professional actor and could not act out a comedy. Brother Lei? Where are you going? Su-yin smiled and said, This is role-playing as a woodcutter? Brother, I know what I've done. I have to give you an explanation. Shirley said, Not only did I bring people to obstruct President Tang Jiu's people this morning, but I also injured her people and destroyed her company car. Su-yin could not hold it in and laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, you didn't know it was her at that time. Whether I knew or not, I did it. Shirley said, A man has to be responsible for what he has done. I almost ruined President Tang's plan. So even if you didn't come to find me today, I would have gone to apologize to you. Su-yin smiled and walked in front of Shirley. He took out one of the thorns on his back. Brother Lei, are you saying that you want me to hit you with this thorns? Yes. Hit me until all the thorns are broken. Then I'll feel better, Shirley said. There are so many of them. Won't it be too tiring to hit them? Su-yin tried to hold back his laughter. Shirley's two underlings panicked when they heard Su-yin. President Su, are you really going to hit him? But Brother Lei is still injured. Manager Su, if you want to hit us, then hit us. We'll take the blame for Brother Lei. As he spoke, he took off his shirt. His upper body was bare, and he looked as if he was at Su Kei's mercy. Can you two get out of my way? Shirley was very serious. If you cause any more trouble, I'll chop you two up. Get out of my way. Don't cause trouble here. The two underlings saw how serious Shirley was and did not dare to say anything else. They looked at Su Yun blankly and said, President Su, please be gentler. Su Yun took all the thorns. Seeing this, Shirley's two little brothers couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. With Su Yun's strength, wouldn't Shirley's entire back be smashed into a bloody mess? However, Su Yun's next move was unexpected. Of course, he would not hit Shirley with these thorns. Su Yun felt that he owed Shirley a favor for protecting Tangjiu today. Su Yun broke all the thorns and threw them to the ground. Alright, they're all broken. Take them out and burn them. When Shirley's two underlings heard this, they were instantly overjoyed. Without another word, they picked up the thorns and ran out of the door. Brother Su Yinyu, I don't feel good about what you're doing, Shirley said. I'm a bore. I don't know how to make up for my mistakes. This is the only way. If you don't accept it, Brother Lei, it's my fault for not telling you. If I had told you earlier, things wouldn't have turned out like this. You wouldn't have gotten hurt. Su Yin, I should be the one apologizing. But I feel that with our relationship, if I apologize again, I'll be treating you like an outsider. Shirley bit his lip. We can't treat each other like outsiders. So, it doesn't matter if it's my fault or someone else's. It's not a big deal. Su Yin, I'm not here to criticize you or apologize to you. I'm just here to take a look at your gunshot wound. Shirley grinned and said straightforwardly, It's just a small wound. It's fine. The knot in his heart had been untied. The wound was really not a big deal to Shirley. He did not feel much pain when he moved his arm. Take off the gauze. I'll apply some medicine for you. Su Yin took out the heaven fragrance ointment as he spoke. Only those who had used it knew how precious this medicine was. If Shirley knew that this medicine was hard to find in the underground world, he would definitely not be willing to use it. Shirley removed the thick gauze wrapped around his shoulder. It really hurt when he moved. After all, his muscles were directly torn by the bullet. It would take at least 1 or 2 months to recover from this injury. If he wanted to move freely, it would take at least 100 days. Su Yun applied the heaven fragrance ointment on his hand and said, Bear with it. Shirley did not even have time to nod before Su Yun applied the heaven fragrance ointment directly on his shoulder. A wave of heart-piercing pain almost caused Shirley to bite through his own lips. What medicine is this? It's too exciting. It was like using a pair of scissors to stir around his wound. This pain was really not something an ordinary person could endure. Even Shirley, who had been injured countless times since he was young, his forehead was instantly covered in sweat, dripping down his cheeks to the ground. But even in such a painful situation, Shirley did not stop Su Yun. He allowed Su Yun to continue applying the medicine on his penetrated shoulder. The heart-wrenching pain came again. The ointment seemed to have a life of its own as it desperately drilled into the center of Shirley's wound. Shirley had always been a tough guy, but he still couldn't endure the second invasion of pain. He screamed in pain, and his gums were about to bleed from the biting. Su Yun was still very calm as he applied the heaven fragrance ointment on Shirley. He said indifferently, People's physiques are different, so the pain this medicine brings is different. The stronger the person's physique, the greater the pain. So the more pain you feel, the better your physique is. The heavenly fragrance ointment was a must-have in the Divine Dragon Brigade, but no one wanted to use it. This was because the stimulating pain it brought was too terrifying, especially for those experts. The pain they felt was unimaginable for ordinary people. Back in Hudong, when Chang was nailed to the wall, Su Yun used it on him once, but Chang's reaction was not as great as Shirley's. Chapter 1689. Compared to ordinary medicine, heaven fragrance ointment's efficacy was absolutely terrifying. Especially in the eyes of ordinary people, this kind of medicine that could quickly relieve physical injuries was simply an elixir. This was the great pain that ordinary people couldn't bear. The effect of medicine was also inconceivable to ordinary people. After enduring the indescribable pain, Shirley was surprised to find that the wound on his shoulder was miraculous. After the pain subsided, his shoulder started to ease up in a terrifying manner. The pain started to lessen until Shirley didn't feel any pain at all. However, Shirley still felt that this was a psychological effect and the effect of comparison. The psychological effect was because this medicine was given to him by Su Yun. If Su Yun gave him something bad, it would naturally be a very effective medicine. Therefore, this was a psychological effect. And the effect of comparison was that he could even endure the knife-like pain just now. The other pain was nothing at all. However, what made Shirley feel very exaggerated was that this was really not a psychological effect. After Su Yun applied the medicine, he observed for a while and patted Shirley's shoulder. "Okay, don't use this gauze. It's too ugly and inauspicious." When this slap landed on Shirley's shoulder, Shirley wanted to grit his teeth and endure it, but he didn't feel any pain at all. There was only a kind of numbing and itchy feeling. It was like the itchy feeling of a wound that had just healed. When Shirley lowered his head to look at his shoulder, he was completely shocked. The bloody wound that should have been shot by a bullet only had a vague imprint left. Could it be that it had healed? What the hell is this thing that Su Yun gave him? It was simply an elixir refined by the alchemy furnace of the Grand Supreme Elderly Lord. Shirley touched his shoulder in shock. Other than the smell of the medicine that made him a little uncomfortable, the wound had really healed. "Su Yun. Brother Su Yun, what kind of treasure did you apply on me?" After Shirley knew about the efficacy of the medicine, he immediately understood that it must be something that was hard to buy. He was absolutely grateful to Su Yun. He really didn't expect that Su Yun would let bygones be bygones. Not only did he not blame him for obstructing the Tang group, but he also brought him such a precious medicine after he was shot. Su Yun placed the remaining heaven fragrance ointment on the tea table in Shirley's house. "This thing can heal external injuries at a godly speed. Apply it again at this time tomorrow, and you'll basically be healed." "Brother, this thing is too magical. It must be very valuable. I can't accept it." Shirley knew that this kind of thing could be said to be priceless. Su Yun smiled. "It's not cheap, but it's nothing to me. Brother Lei, feel free to use it. I came here mainly to give you this. If you want me to take it back, wouldn't my trip be in vain?" Shirley was truly grateful. "Brother Lei, there's one more thing I want to tell you," Su Yun said. "If you treat me as a friend, don't blame me for speaking my mind." "Brother Su Yun, what are you saying?" Shirley said. "If you have something to say, you can just say it to me." Su Yun nodded. "There's a new chief of the Qingdao police station. You should have heard about it." Shirley nodded. "I heard about it. The new chief makes 3 rounds of fire. I was a little surprised that this fire didn't burn me. I thought that the police would use this matter to give me a good hard time today. Fortunately, there's this unlucky Wang Qing who took the blame, hee." After a pause, Shirley said again, "Brother, do you think that the new chief didn't use this matter to investigate the matter? Does it mean that he's easy to manipulate? But something's not right. On the first day of the new chief's appointment, I used my relationship with the police station to indirectly ask people to express my good intentions to him. I wanted to invite him out for a chat." Su Yun raised his eyebrows. How could Shirley not do anything? "And then?" "There's no then." Shirley said. "My friend in the police station said that he was scolded badly by the new bureau chief Chin, and almost lost his job. He said that he was harming the integrity of the party and the spiritual civilization, and that it was a sign of loosening power. Anyway, from what I heard, Chief Chen has a certain understanding of me. He knows what I do, so he's very dissatisfied that my friend helped me ask him out for a meal." Su Yun nodded. That's right. He knew what kind of person Chief Chen was. The fact that he didn't lose his job was already a big opportunity for him. But this new bureau chief Chen's behavior today makes me a little confused. Shirley said, "You say, what does he mean by this? He could have followed the vine to investigate me. Even if he couldn't take me down, he could have shown me his power and let me know what to do and what not to do." After pondering for a while, Shirley quickly asked Su Yun, "Brother, do you think this matter is possible? Does Chief Chen mean that we can do something about it? How do you want to manipulate it?" Su Yun was startled. It seemed that Shirley had misunderstood. "He gave me face without saying anything. He gave me a favor." Shirley said, "Of course I interpreted it as his work ability being poor, but I think it's better if I interpret it as Chief Chen giving me an olive branch, right? And then? Suyin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Shirley, on the other hand, was quite serious. Brother Suyin, don't laugh at me. Sometimes, society's matters and relationships are created by oneself. That's how I got familiar with Chief Chen little by little. When Chief Chen came to Qingdao, he didn't burn me down. I took the initiative to invite him, and we became friends. In the future, he gave me face in many things. Suyin shook his head. But this Chief Chen is definitely different from the Chief Chen you mentioned. Why? Shirley said. Whether it's true or not, I should try and fight for it. Because I know Chief Chen, and our relationship is quite good. Suyin. The Chief Chen I know will never be friends with you. Because he's in charge of maintaining social harmony and stability, and Brother Lei, you are his biggest enemy. Do you understand? Shirley was startled. He didn't pay attention to the latter part of the sentence, but he heard the first part of Su Yun's sentence clearly. Brother? You have a good relationship with Chief Chen? Su Yun nodded. Yes. Chief Chen also knows that you and I are friends, so he asked me to pass a message to you. He won't pursue you this time, but he hopes that you will think carefully before doing anything in the future. If you cross the red line, he will definitely do his best to investigate and punish you. Shirley was stunned. Was this a threat? A warning? Or a suggestion? What was this? He's not joking. Suyin said, Brother Lei, based on my understanding of Chief Chen, his next step will be to carry out a large-scale confiscation of the guns that have been scattered in Qingdao. I think it's necessary for you to cooperate. Shirley touched his chin. Brother Suyin, Chief Chen didn't do anything to me this time because of you, right? I don't know about that. Maybe Chief Chen wants to give everyone a chance, Suyin said. No, it's definitely because of you, Shirley said. Shirley said. And your reputation is really not small. For him to let you say these things to me, it means that he doesn't want to embarrass you because of me. He's a particular person. But isn't he a little too ruthless? Suyin said. From his point of view, as well as the point of view of the commoners, his actions are clearly correct. Shirley gritted his teeth. Brother, I'm not a person who's afraid of trouble, but I don't like to cause trouble for myself either. If someone else said this, I might feel uncomfortable. But you came to me, and I definitely know that you have good intentions. I'll listen to your advice on this matter. Suyin didn't expect Shirley to agree so readily. It really surprised him. Chapter 1690. Shirley's two lackeys ran back after they finished burning the vines. They quickly took out cigarettes and offered them to Su Yun. Su Yun thanked them but didn't take it, indicating that he didn't want to smoke. He just wanted to hear what Shirley was going to do next. Although he listened to Shirley's advice, Su Yun still didn't know what Shirley was going to do. Maybe Shirley would give him face and hide everything, so that Chen Wei wouldn't be able to find his weakness. But what was the point of that? Shirley also knew what Su Yun was waiting for. He was waiting for an answer that wasn't so vague. After a while, Shirley finally opened his mouth. But that little brother suddenly bluffed. Aya! Oh my God! Brother Lei! You're possessed! His shout startled the guy next to him. Before Shirley could scold him, the other lackey next to him slapped the guy on the back of his head. Did you King eat the wrong medicine today? What are you shouting for? Look at how you scared Boss Su and Brother Lei. If it was any other day, this guy would have already fought back. But right now his mind was not on that at all. His eyes were as big as a cow's egg as he pointed at Shirley's shoulder and said, Brother Lei, you're wound. At this time, the guy next to him noticed that the bandage on Shirley's shoulder had been removed. He took a closer look and his bluff was even louder than the guy just now. Oh my God. Brother Lei. What's going on? It was naturally difficult for ordinary people to accept a gunshot wound that healed so quickly. The reality that happened in front of them was like an illusion. The two men rubbed their eyes hard. No matter how hard they looked, they didn't see anything wrong. Shirley glared at the two unreliable guys, and hurriedly put away the rest of the heaven fragrance ointment on the table. He didn't want these two idiots to throw it away. Don't make a fuss. My body's recovery ability is good. Are you too unhappy? Boss, isn't your recovery ability a bit exaggerated? The two lackeys kept swallowing their saliva. Even the king of a godforsaken planet doesn't have your recovery ability. What nonsense are you spouting? Shirley had long passed the age of watching anime, so he didn't know who the king of godless birds was, nor did he know that there was a creature in this world called the time chicken. Get lost, both of you. Don't come in and disturb our conversation without my permission. Scram. Scram. Hurry up and scram. Although the two of them didn't know what had happened, Brother Lei's shoulder had healed so quickly. The two loyal subordinates were definitely very happy. Director Su, you're really a living god. The two of them were not fools. They knew that this matter must have something to do with Su Yun. Hua Tua reincarnated, Li Shizhen reborn. Aya, stop flattering me. Can't you just get lost? Shirley laughed and scolded. We have serious things to talk about. You two go find a place to play. Later, no matter how much you spend, it's on me. I'll reimburse you, okay? Brother Lei, can we drive the car out? Shirley glared. Drive your ass. Last time, it was you who drove my car to pick up girls. That day, I went to the commercial building to do some business. Once I stopped the car, a pretty girl opened the door and scolded me. After scolding me, she told me I was wrong. She even asked me if I wanted to borrow your car to pretend to be rich. Brother Lei, I was wrong. This brat saw that things weren't going well, and turned to run. This was really his doing. I swear I didn't do it in the car. He swore. Brother Lei, he knows he was wrong. The other one still didn't know what was good for him. Then can you lend me the car? Shirley pointed at the door. Get lost as far as you can from your hometown. After sending the two bastard lackeys away, Shirley's mood was much better. At this time, he had forgotten the topic he had with Su Yun. But Su Yun didn't forget. He had been waiting. Brother Lei, give me a confirmation. Brother, I Shirley am a particular person. Director Chen gave me such a big chance to be lenient because of you. If I don't know what's good for me, I'll be too ignorant. Shirley said. Even if it's for your sake, I'll definitely give Director Chen face. Su Yun smiled. With Shirley's words, he was really relieved. Brother Lei, I believe that your words are more effective than Director Chen's. I'm not insulting Director Chen, nor am I flattering you. On the Guqin Island, you're the only one who can do that. Shirley didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How can this be called ability? Ha ha ha, but being able to take the lead is also my contribution to society. Maybe some people didn't understand what they were talking about. It was actually very simple. Chen Wei wanted to crack down on criminals and ban guns. It was definitely unrealistic to check every household. He would also give people who secretly hid guns a chance. So he would definitely set up a collection office. Those who voluntarily handed in guns would be exempted from all crimes. As long as they took the initiative to deal with the weapons in their hands, they would be treated leniently. This was a necessary method. But in this way, how many people would listen, how many people would take the initiative to stand up, and how effective it would be, really didn't depend on the police. At this time, if Shirley could take the initiative to stand out and set an example, it was believed that those who had hidden goods in their hands on the Zither Island would definitely feel nervous. Think about it, if even Shirley couldn't handle it, this matter must be very serious. Shirley's every move would definitely affect the vigilance of the brothers on the Zither Island. There was no doubt about it. Think about it. Even Brother Lei had shrunk back. This would definitely be a very terrifying crackdown. If anyone wanted to commit a crime, they would have to consider whether they had the strength or not. If they wanted to die, no one would stop them. Su Yun's other purpose of coming to Shirley was to ask for Shirley's support in this matter. As long as Shirley was willing to take the lead, Chen Wei's work would be very smooth. Brother Lei were friends, so there's something I want to say first. Su Yun. I have my bottom line when it comes to everything. What's right and what's wrong, I'll know very clearly. Then, I'll choose the right side to do and complete it. This is a matter of principle. It has nothing to do with feelings or feelings. Shirley was stunned. He thought he understood Su Yun's words very well. Su Yun had made a choice between him and Chen Wei. Su Yun would choose the righteous side. Brother, I, Shirley, have been in the business for so many years, and I've done a lot of bad things. But now, I understand a principle, karma. If the first half of my life was immoral, then the second half of my life is accumulating virtue. I want to wash my hands in a golden basin. Shirley smiled slightly. Once one entered the underworld, one would be a part of the underworld forever. There were very few people who could wash their hands in a golden basin, and not many people had this qualification. But on Qingdao, Shirley definitely had this qualification. Su Yun was a little surprised that Shirley would give such a response. He really didn't dare to believe it. I've had this idea for a long time, but I never had the chance. Shirley smiled a little haggard. I'm tired, really tired. But this path is easy to enter, but not easy to leave. Although this isn't an opportunity, I still want to quit. I don't want to cause trouble for Director Chen. And I don't want to make things difficult for you, brother. If you quit this industry, what are you going to do? Su Yun suddenly thought of this question. Shirley laughed heartily. There's a saying that goes, those who rely on the mountain eat the mountain, and those who rely on the sea eat and drink the sea eat and drink. I've thought about it. If I go to your film base and become a group leader, can I guarantee that I won't have to worry about food and clothing? Needless to say, Shirley's idea was pretty good. He had connections. Brother Lei, are you kidding? Su Yun still didn't dare to believe him. If you really wash your hands in a golden basin and go into the entertainment industry, I'll definitely support you 100%. Then we'll happily make a decision. Shirley became serious. I'm really not kidding. As long as the order to surrender is issued, I'll take the initiative to hand over everything. The 8th of next month is a good day. I'll wash my hands in a golden basin on that day and quit the underworld. Brother, remember to come and support me on that day. I'll definitely be there. Until Su Yun left, he was still thinking about what had just happened. Shirley's decision seemed to be hurried, but if you thought about it carefully, you would find that he had this idea long ago, but just didn't have the chance to act. This opportunity gave him the opportunity, and Su Yun's presence gave him the courage. Chapter 1691. An important matter couldn't be quickly decided by one person's thoughts. Many factors had to be combined together to make a decision on an important matter. Obviously, Shirley was able to decide on this matter in a short period of time, because he had thought about it carefully for a long time. As Shirley walked deeper and deeper on this path, it brought him more and more power and desire. However, the negative effect of this was that his conscience had always condemned him. This kind of condemnation was something that people could not feel when they were young. When he was middle-aged, Shirley felt that he had walked on a path of no return. Thinking about it, after so many years, how many of the underworld giants in the country could have a good ending in the end? The Northeast's fourth master was glorious for a time. Not only did he act as a groom every night, he even dared to overtake Chairman Li's car. In the end, he was still punished. Therefore, it was said that there would be no good in the end if one continued on this path, unless they were like those people in the film and television industry in Hong Kong, turning the things around them into celebrities and stars, and then shooting a series of gangsters to become the boss of the entertainment industry. Shirley knew that he did not have that standard. He did not know how to act or film, but he sincerely wanted to get rid of all of this. Even if he was a group leader, he did not want to be involved with the underworld. 3 days ago, when the new director Chen Wei had just taken office, Shirley felt that his time was coming to an end. There would always be someone who would step forward to solve this problem. Not everyone in power would be willing to wallow in the mire with him. If Shirley did not know about the relationship between the new director Chen and Su Yun, perhaps he would have held on for a while. After all, it was not easy to quit. After he knew about the relationship between the new director Chen and Su Yun, he knew what he should do. Su Yun was also a good friend. He had said it very clearly. It was up to Shirley to choose. Even if Shirley was confident that he could gain the upper hand in the confrontation with the new director Chen, he definitely did not have the confidence to compete with Su Yun. Su Yin would not help him, but Director Chen. Therefore, Shirley's decision to retire was definitely not a sudden idea. It was a long-term idea. With Su Yin as the catalyst, this idea was brought up today. Bringing it up at this time could be considered as the right time, place, and people. It was the right time. Since Brother Su Yin is willing to give me this face, my life is not in vain. Shirley laughed heartily. He had decided on this matter, but it was still difficult to complete it. Moreover, he himself was a little reluctant in his heart. Brother Lei, you should recuperate first. I still have things to deal with, so I won't disturb you. If you need anything, you can find me at any time. After Su Yin got up, he added, I'll be there on the 8th of next month. Shirley nodded. This kid was afraid that he would regret it, so he deliberately reminded him, don't worry. Just let Chief Chen do whatever he wants. I'll definitely be the first to support him. When Su Yin returned to the company, he saw that Tang Jio's car was already parked downstairs. Could it be that the project was already done? After Su Yin returned to the office, he saw that Tang Jio, her assistant, and the project manager were all around the sofa. Tang Jio was pointing at the laptop on the coffee table and talking about something. Seeing that Su Yin had returned, Tang Jio embarrassedly stuck out her tongue and said, Do you mind if I borrow your office to talk about something? Of course not, Su Yin said. I'll get someone to prepare a conference room for you. Is it uncomfortable here? No need, it's almost done, Tang Jio said. Deputy Director sure gave us some small suggestions. I'll let them think about how to improve it. You do your thing, don't worry about us. After that, Tang Jio pointed at the computer screen and turned to say to someone behind her, I'll leave the replanning of this place to you. Give me the plan before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Yes, Boss Tang. Tang Jio stretched her back and moved her stiff neck. She said to the people behind her, You all understand your job, right? Now use your brains to work. You must solve all the problems I raised by 4 o'clock this afternoon. I want to bring the new plan to Deputy Director Shi before the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development closes. Let him see our sincerity. Yes, boss. After that, everyone quickly left and went back to their hotel rooms to work. Tang Jio also breathed a sigh of relief. If this was done today, Deputy Director Shi would definitely be shocked by Tang Jio's efficiency. Isn't Tang Jio the only company left to bid now? Huang Jima was arrested and Yang Zhen withdrew. The other two companies were scared off on their way here. Su Yin said, You don't have any pressure, so you don't have to tire yourself out. How can I not have any pressure? Do I only have pressure when there are competitors? Tang Jio said, That's not the case. If this project doesn't land, I'll feel pressured. Even if there's no competition, I have to compete with myself. Only then can I maintain my best condition. Su Yin poured 2 glasses of water and handed one to Tang Jio. You can't just be busy with work and not have a sip of water. Look at your lips. Even my mouth feels dry just looking at them. Tang Jio thanked him and took the glass. As she drank, she said to Su Yin, Why didn't you go back to the hotel? When I came out of the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development, I called Sister Cho Yun. She said that you went to the hotel with them and left in a hurry. Did you go to look for Brother Lei? Is his injury serious? Su Yin nodded. Fortunately, it didn't hurt his vitals. It's not a big deal. I should really thank him for this, Tang Jio said. I didn't expect him to help me at that time. If he didn't help me, he wouldn't have been injured. Why don't you accompany me to visit him again? Buy some flowers or something and wish him a speedy recovery. He's already been discharged. Su Yin smiled faintly. He couldn't let Tang Jio go. Right now, Shirley was still blaming himself for his actions. If Tang Jio went to see him at this time, wouldn't it make him feel even more uncomfortable and restless? Don't go see him. He's embarrassed to see you. He even asked me to apologize to you on his behalf. You mean before, he probably didn't know it was me at that time. Tang Jio said, However, since it's a misunderstanding, I'll deal with the person who injured him. I won't pursue the person responsible. Su Yin drank the water in the glass. You don't have to think about other things. Just focus on this project. This way, everyone's efforts and sacrifices won't be in vain. Don't worry. I'll definitely make sure Deputy Director sure doesn't regret choosing Tang Group, Tang Jiu said confidently. Then I won't disturb your work. I still have things to do. I'll take my leave first. After sending Tang Jiu off, Suyin quickly dealt with some documents. Later, he remembered that Shirley wanted to be a group leader, so he called Lin Gu to walk around the film base with him. He learned about the extras and the group leader, and checked the quality of the extras. After comparing various aspects, Su Yun came to a conclusion. This project was really feasible. After all, the Qingdao film base had only been established for a short period of time, so the stability and quality of the extras were slightly inferior. If they could unify this aspect at this time, it would definitely be a good opportunity. He believed that with Shirley's ability, if he really wanted to do this, there was nothing that he couldn't do. This project would definitely work. In that case, even if Shirley retired in a gold basin, he would still be able to make a name for himself in society. Suddenly, Su Yun started to look forward to the day when Shirley would retire in a gold basin. Chapter 1692. Soon, Chen Wei's arrival on Qingdao set the three fires ablaze. He strictly cracked down on and investigated all kinds of activities that were suspected of violence, crime, prostitution, gambling, and drug activities that harmed the interests of the people. Because of the shooting incident on the third day of his appointment, the entire Qingdao police force was even stricter in dealing with violent incidents. It was like a storm sweeping through the entire Qingdao Jianghu. There were three major forces in the Qingdao Jianghu. In addition to Shirley, who was recruited and trained by people from all over the country, there was the circle formed by the local young men of Qingdao, and the northeast gang of the three northeastern provinces. The first impression of most Huaxia people in the northeast was that they were arrogant and rude. Not to mention men, even women would say F***K off every time they opened their mouths. These people were forthright and straightforward. If they played well, they could become friends. If they didn't, they would F***K off and ignore you. Shirley had such a group of thugs from the northeast. They were all quite ruthless. They followed Shirley instead of their own circle in the northeast gang, because they felt that the people in power in the circle of the northeast gang were a little different. If they were so awesome, they would not be honest with others in the future. They were not loyal enough. In their eyes, the northeasterners who had the ability to make a name for themselves in this tiny Guqin island were like brothers who were held high up in the air and boasted about. As for those who could not make a name for themselves in Qingdao, they did not care at all if they set up a stall in the snack street to sell fake Korean cold noodles and Korean mixed rice. It was because of this that many northeasterners in the northeast gang were unhappy. Some of these people were not doing well, and some were doing well. However, they all had the same character, which was loyalty. They did not like to look at others with snobbish eyes. This group of people gradually became Shirley's people. However, Shirley was different. No matter what your status was, whether you were doing well or not, whether you were running a night market or selling breakfast to earn a living, or whether you were able to snatch a job at a construction site or a cement mixing station, he would treat anyone who was willing to work with him as his brother. Therefore, Shirley had people from all over the country under his command. There were burly men from his own province. Since ancient times, there had been Lake Liangshan's 108 demonic stars who had wreaked havoc in the world. There were also ferocious tigers from the three northeastern provinces who loved to stir up trouble, but were not afraid of it. They were not careless in their actions at all. There was also the Northwest Wolf, who was valiant and ruthless. Normally, he would not make a move, but if he did, he would definitely let his opponent know what a bloody disaster was. There was also the even more ferocious Mongols. Although they looked friendly and didn't stir up trouble, if they really fought, they would dare to fight against two people from the northeast. It wouldn't be a problem for them to overturn 5 people from Xinjiang. Let's talk about the circle of local boys from Guqin Island. They were very impressive. There was a good saying, the boys from Guqin Island are not to be trifled with. If you mess with them, you won't even dare to cover your eyes. Instead, you will rub your ribs. The young man from the Guqin Island was the one who kept saying, "I'm better than you." Many people said that the young men of Guqin Island were not strong enough. 80% of the territories on Guqin Island were controlled by foreigners. They were all like the northeastern tigers and northwestern wolves. However, the 20% of the territory in the hands of the young man from the Guqin Island was definitely the richest and best. Actually, Shirley was also a young man from the Zither Island. The reason why he was excluded was because he was different from the people in the circle of young men from the Zither Island. He was not that arrogant, nor did he have a strong sense of regional superiority. This was probably the reason why foreigners were the most displeased with the young men from the Guqin Island. They always thought that they were awesome just because they were from the Guqin Island. They brought a few people from the Guqin Island, who thought that the Guqin Island was more developed than Xinjiang, to go to a bar and drive around the beach in a sports car. Little did they know that the people from Xinjiang didn't care about the Guqin Island at all. In the eyes of the people from Xinjiang, Yanjing was the biggest village in Huaxia. The existence of regional superiority differentiated Shirley from the other local forces on the Guqin Island. This might also be the reason why most people thought that the Northeast Gang on the Guqin Island was more powerful than the Guqin Circle. Shirley knew how to absorb and put talents in important positions. Therefore, he had many elite soldiers under him from all over the country. As for the young men from the Guqin Circle, who had a strong sense of regional superiority, they thought that the people from the Guqin Island were awesome. The people from the Guqin Island were proud and looked down on foreigners. Therefore, their force seemed weak and weak. The things in the underworld of the Guqin Island had been balanced for so many years. No one dared to shake Shirley's position as the boss of the Guqin Island. Shirley also didn't kill the two groups of people from the Northeast Gang and the Guqin Circle. They left each other some food. If there was something big, they could discuss it together. Although the Northeast Gang and the Guqin Circle occasionally had conflicts, it didn't hinder the balanced development of the underworld. Shirley hoped that things would continue like this. He didn't feel any pressure in his heart. Everything was fine. However, he knew very well that once he retired, the balance would be destroyed. As for what would happen, he really didn't know. More importantly, he himself wasn't sure whether he could retreat unscathed. There were rules in the underworld. Many big shots in the underworld had their families destroyed because they wanted to retire. It wasn't that there were no cases, because his abdication was bound to affect his interests. His chain of interests and territory would be divided by others. At this time, whether they got more or less, they would think that they had suffered a loss. At this time, whether it was a humble person or an unruly person, they would have a mentality that if you don't take advantage, you will suffer a loss. Because this was something that someone didn't want directly, people who wanted to take advantage of it would shift their target to Shirley. They would think of ways to take it from Shirley's hands before others could swallow it up. Shirley was in a difficult situation. Those small fries naturally didn't dare to act rashly. Even if Shirley became an old man walking on the street in the future, these people wouldn't dare to touch him. He was worried about the two groups of people from the Northeast Gang and the Guqin Circle. Bai Renjun, the current leader of the Northeast Gang, was only 30 years old. He could make such a group of hot-tempered guys listen to his arrangements obediently. Naturally, his means were not simple. Moreover, this guy could get to where he was today. It wasn't just purely by being fastidious and being loyal, he also relied on his IQ. There were 3 people who had more power in the Guqin Circle, and the one who was most worthy of the title of leader was Qi Xiaobei. Qi Xiaobei was only 28 years old, 2 years younger than Bai Renjun, but it wasn't nonsense to say that he was young and frivolous. Qi Xiaobei was the only one who dared to challenge Bai Renjun face to face. Even Shirley would give some face to Bai Renjun. He wouldn't roll up his sleeves and fight directly. These 2 people would definitely bring trouble to Shirley. However, Shirley really couldn't avoid it. He wanted to let the brothers in the underworld know that he, Shirley, was ready to enjoy his old age and publicly announce that he had turned over a new leaf. At the same time, he also gave up the benefits in the underworld. In the future, the brothers in the underworld shouldn't look for him if they had any problems. If they looked for him, he wouldn't show up again. Those who were willing to give him face would still call him Brother Lei when they saw him in the future. Brother Lei would bow to them to show his gratitude. Those who weren't willing to give him face would just treat him as a passerby in the future. They would roll their eyes and snort when they saw him. He would endure it. After all, he was a person who had retired. This kind of thing couldn't be fussed about. This was called washing his hands in a golden basin. If a person secretly found a corner to wash his hands in a golden basin, and didn't dare to announce it to the world, people would think that he had gotten Tinny a hand. It was so shameful. Today, Chen Wei's gun ban order was issued. He officially announced that he would openly collect guns and ammunition from the society. If they took out these things that shouldn't be hidden during the handover period, then nothing would happen. After this week's handover period, if they were found out again, then they would be sentenced to 7 years in prison according to the maximum punishment for illegal possession of guns and ammunition. This move was really big. There were so many people in the underworld on Guqin Island. How many guns were in private hands? There were at least 5 digits. This was already the minimum. Therefore, most people's eyes were on Shirley. Chapter 1693. Everyone on Guqin Island could say that they didn't have a gun, but Shirley couldn't. Why? He was recognized as the boss of the Guqin Island society. He had brothers, a territory, and a place. No matter who they were, they would give him face. He could drink tea and chat with the Jade Emperor when he was in heaven, and he could play chess and have a heart-to-heart talk with the second son of the King of Hell. This was Shirley's position in the eyes of Guqin Island's people. Therefore, Shirley would definitely have things that he shouldn't have. This was certain. Shirley knew all too well what kind of status and position he had. He knew very well how others viewed him. Ever since the order to surrender was issued, he knew that Su Yin was watching him. He hoped that he could cooperate and do a good job for Chen Wei. On the first day after the order was issued, Shirley gathered his trusted brothers to his place. In an empty room, Shirley sat on the only chair in the room. In front of him stood more than 20 brothers. These 20 brothers could be said to have gone through fire and water with him. He couldn't remember how many things they had done for him. He only knew that these people were his brothers. Even if he was no longer playing on this path, he would definitely not let these brothers of his suffer. After being in society for so many years, Shirley had accumulated a lot of money. He wasn't like most people who spent their ill-gotten wealth without feeling any heartache. Even if most of the money was ill-gotten, it was exchanged with flesh and blood. Shirley cherished it very much. Ever since he stepped on this path, he knew that sooner or later, he wouldn't be able to walk or crawl anymore. When that day came, if he didn't have any money in his pocket, he might die a worse death than a beggar. And these 20 brothers in front of him, each one of them would end up like him. Therefore, after these people started to follow him, he had been advising them not to spend money extravagantly. They shouldn't think that money came easily. Even Shirley himself only had 3 luxury cars that were worth 1,000,000 yuan. They couldn't compare to some second-rate rich kids. The cars of his subordinates were even more ordinary. Most of them were within 300,000 to 500,000 yuan. One had to know that all of them could afford to buy a big S-grade car, and they didn't even need to pay for it. However, no one dared to buy them. When someone spent 850,000 yuan on a low-end BMW X5, he directly scolded Shirley. He scolded him for thinking that he was rich and capable. If he was so capable, why didn't he get a Ferrari to drive? That would be even more King awesome. It wasn't that the rich second generation didn't have enough RMB to squander for the rest of their lives. They just had to live a down-to-earth life. It was fine as long as they could drive and sit in a car. If it wasn't for the fact that he had to hold on and not fall from his current position, he really wouldn't have bought the Mercedes-Benz S600. He felt that the 800,000 yuan ordinary Phaeton was quite comfortable to sit in. Today, the Public Security Bureau issued an order. I think you all know about it. Shirley said faintly. Other than Su Yun, he had not told any of his subordinates that he wanted to wash his hands of the business. The earlier this news spread, the more chaotic it would be. There was still a week before the date he had set, so it was about time to talk. Brother Lei, we all saw that matter. The new director Chen wants to use the previous incident to rectify the social atmosphere. We just have to be a little tense during this period of time. We definitely won't cause any trouble. I just told my brothers to hide their weapons well. If they really can't find a place to hide, they can go to the mountains and dig a hole to bury them. They can pee and leave some scent so that they can find them in the future. Haha. Obviously, Shirley's brothers hadn't realized Shirley's intention. After the laughter, Shirley waved his hand to signal them to be serious. Don't laugh. This matter isn't that simple. If anyone dares to hide, I guarantee that he won't be able to laugh in the future. Hearing Shirley's words, everyone was dumbfounded. What did he mean? They felt that the commotion was a little too big. Brother Lei, this new director Chen is an iron fist? Someone saw something wrong from Shirley's serious expression. Shirley didn't answer his question. You don't need to know whether he is an iron fist or not. You just need to know that it won't be easy to survive in Qingdao in the future. Today, I called all of you here. The first thing I want to talk about is this gun ban. I will fully cooperate with this matter. Of course, you all have your own ideas. You will listen to and believe what I say, but I don't dare to say whether you will do it or not. Brother Lei, are you serious? Are you really going to hand over the guns? The brothers didn't seem to believe it. Shirley nodded and continued. Okay, that was the first thing. Now, I want to talk about the second thing. Handing over the guns was such a big matter, and Shirley just brushed it off with one sentence. This really made the brothers a little surprised. It could only mean that the second thing was more important. It was so important that the first thing became a small matter. Brothers, you have been with me for so many years. I know very well how much money each of you has saved. Shirley said lightly. I believe that this money is enough for you to eat and drink for the rest of your life, but it's not enough for you to start a new business. If you're not careful, it will be gone in a few years. Everyone felt that the atmosphere was a little strange. Brother Lei's words were really strange today. As an elder brother, I won't watch my brothers have no food to eat in the future, and I won't let my brothers fall in a few years. As Shirley spoke, he took out a stack of envelopes from his pocket. Whether I, Shirley, have money or not, you all know very well. I don't dare to say more, but I can still afford to give each of you 2 million, or even more. But I am your elder brother, not your father, so I won't support you for the rest of your lives. Everyone started to fall silent. This topic suddenly became heavy. There are 2 million in each card, and the password is my birthday. You all remember it better than me. Shirley smiled slightly. Just treat it as an elder brother giving my brothers money to start a business. Although it's not much, it's enough to toss and turn for 2 years. I believe that as long as you are a person, you can King work hard to start a business. Even if you lose 2 million, you can definitely buy the most valuable experience and lesson. Then you won't fall again. Phew, everyone's mood became heavy. The meaning of Shirley's words was slowly becoming clear. To put it simply, he was disbanding. Silence, there was only silence in the room. Finally, someone broke the deadlock. Brother Lei, I don't want this money. I'll follow you. Even if I'm reduced to begging, I, Zhang Chang, won't let you hold a bowl and stretch out your hand. These words aroused everyone's emotions. Everyone stood up to express that they would never abandon Shirley. All of you shut up. Shirley suddenly slammed the table, and the scene quieted down again. What I want to tell you today is that in our line of work, if you have the chance to quit, if you have the chance to get out, if you have the chance to start anew, then don't King hesitate. Don't King regret it for the rest of your life because of your emotions. Don't you know how many people in the underworld have good endings in the end? I'll King give you a chance to quit. Do you understand? Shirley's reprimand made everyone fall into silence again. In the silence, Shirley finally opened his mouth. On the 8th day of the new year, I, Shirley, will wash my hands of the underworld. Everyone was in an uproar. If you didn't listen to my words today, go ahead and take over my territory, but don't blame me for not reminding you. It doesn't matter how you die, but if you implicate your family, wife, and children, then you won't even have the chance to regret it. Do you understand? This was Shirley's last advice. The silence made people feel heartache, as if a knife was being twisted. You know what I mean? Take the money and leave. I believe that any one of you has the ability to do something decent. Shirley said. If you don't understand my intentions, take the money and leave. Don't treat me as a big brother in the future. The order to leave was issued, but no one dared to leave, nor did they think of reaching out to take the money. If you don't take it, then King break off your brotherhood with me, Shirley. Shirley glared fiercely, turned his head and scolded. Get out! All of you get out! Finally, someone took the lead to pick up a bank card, followed by a second, a third. Shirley didn't want to turn his head, because he didn't want his brothers to see his bloodshot eyes. Chapter 1694. The reason why Shirley was able to get to where he was in this life was not only because he was a righteous person, but also because he was a person who was able to let go of everything. There were not many people who could retreat so quickly. When a person stood at the peak of his life, he would always hope that he could maintain it for a long time. Therefore, the first reaction of most people when they heard about Shirley's decision was disbelief. How was that possible? If they were to put themselves in Shirley's shoes, no one with his current status would make such a decision to retire. It was not like he was old and could not walk anymore. What was the point of retiring? Bai Renjun and Qi Xiaobei were the two people who could not understand Shirley's behavior the most. In Bai Renjun's eyes, he guessed that Shirley might have gotten an incurable disease and no longer cared about the affairs of the underworld. In Qi Xiaobei's eyes, he thought that something big must have happened to Shirley. Qi Xiaobei spent most of his time in the southern coastal area of Qingdao, while Bai Renjun spent most of his time in the northern inland area of Qingdao. Therefore, Qi Xiaobei had the opportunity to get close to the water first. He had arranged for all the smart men to go and find out more about this matter. The news that he brought back shocked Qi Xiaobei even more. Shirley actually obediently handed over all his guns on the second day after the new chief Chen issued the gun ban order. Under his leadership, some of the people who had guns also cooperated with him to complete the gun ban order. This news would definitely cause a commotion in Qingdao. Many people did not believe it at all. They thought that even if everyone in Qingdao handed in all their kitchen knives as dangerous items, Shirley would not listen to the new Chief Chen's words. It was because he was Shirley, the big boss of Qingdao, that no one dared to disrespect. This incident also caused quite a bit of shock within the police station. Everyone knew what kind of rank Shirley held. Therefore, Bureau Chief Chen, a newly appointed official, was able to get Shirley to take the lead and cooperate with a single order. This made everyone speculate. Many people said that Chen Wei and Shirley had met in private. Chen Wei received an invitation from Shirley when he took office. This was an open secret. No matter who the new Chief Chen was, Shirley would invite them. At that time, everyone thought that Chen Wei did not go. In fact, Chen Wei did not give Shirley any face. However, most of them still thought that Chen Wei had met Shirley before. Shirley was definitely an iron fist. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Shirley to give him such face. Qi Xiaobei also began to think about this matter. He had tried to contact Chen Wei after he took office, but he was rejected time and time again. This made him very dissatisfied with the new director. However, he believed that this guy would definitely put on airs. Sooner or later, he would drag them down. Qi Xiaobei was smarter than the others. When he heard that the old director was leaving, he immediately ordered his men to restrain themselves. That was why Chen Wei did not pay attention to him after he took over. This time, Shirley was shot at the entrance of the Bureau of Housing and Urban Rural Development. All the attention was now on Shirley. This made Qi Xiaobei very satisfied. He decided to bide his time and see what kind of medicine Shirley had up his sleeve. If Shirley was really intimidated by the new Bureau Chief Chen's authority and gave up everything, then he would direct the spearhead of fire at Bai Renjun and reap the benefits without doing anything. If the new Bureau Chief Chen was not that great, then he would unceremoniously take all the territories that Shirley handed over to him. He would not let Bai Renjun get a single cent. He did not believe that he, the dignified local of Qingdao, could not handle a foreign Manchurian tiger. Bai Renjun was also pondering over Shirley's question. The arrival of a new director had already made the current situation a little tense. and the gun ban made the atmosphere even more tense. Furthermore, after Shirley announced that he was going to retire on the 8th day of the Lunar New Year, the tense atmosphere made it hard for every brother in the underworld to breathe. The Dongbei gang had always been doing well in Qingdao. Most of the reason was that they were a transient population. They dared to do anything and were not afraid of making a big deal out of it. This was the reason why the Dongbei gang could do so well in Qingdao. They were not like the local people of Qingdao. Their roots were here. If something happened, they definitely could not run away. They could only take the blame or find someone to settle it. These 2 points were obviously not as simple and straightforward as running away. Moreover, it would waste more money and energy. Therefore, the cost of doing things was different. This also caused the people of the Dongbei gang to be more ruthless and heavy-handed. They could make their opponents more afraid. After a long time, the Dongbei gang began to slowly gain a foothold and stabilize their foundation in Qingdao. It could be said that it was not easy to get. In fact, when a ruthless person like Shirley appeared in Qingdao, many people predicted that he might lead the brothers in the local circle of Qingdao to completely wipe out the power of the Dongbei gang in Qingdao. However, Shirley did not do so. It was not that he did not want to, but that he was smarter. Although everyone acknowledged that Shirley was the boss of Guqin Island, he had never really unified all the forces. No matter if it was the local gangsters of Guqin Island or the outsiders, he hoped that there would always be a few forces that he could use to help him share the burden. Sharing the burden of the police's attention. This was not the old society of the past. Some people even dared to go against the People's Liberation Army. It was a new society now. It was a developed society. No one would be so reckless. Once all the forces on the Guqin Island were under Shirley's control, he knew better than anyone else what he would face. He would face all the police's targeting. At that time, he would definitely suffer more than he did now. Only when there were too many lice would the police be unable to focus on him. In this way, he could maintain his power for a long time. Shirley was smart. This intelligence was naturally understood by smart people. In Shirley's words, this was a balance of relationships, just like between the police and the bandits. If one day there were really no bad people in the world, would the balance be lost? The answer was of course. If you gathered the 7 Dragon Balls and made a great wish that all the bad people in the world would disappear, then no matter what, at least 80% of the police in the world would come after you. Without the bad people, wouldn't they be unemployed? Could it be that they could be called police if they carried out some work every day to find cats and dogs and send lost old people home? Then let the middle-aged and old people of the Sunset Red Club, who had nothing to do these work. They didn't need to be paid, and the state's financial expenses would be reduced. Although at least half of the people in the Huaxia police station were idlers, they still needed the bad people in the world. Once there were no bad people, they would have no excuse to say that they were too busy. Bai Renjun was a smart person. He also carefully analyzed the reason why Shirley wanted to retire. Obviously, it had something to do with the new bureau chief. However, it was definitely not completely related. Shirley was not such a coward. However, Bai Renjun felt that it was unrealistic for him to believe that Shirley really wanted to retire. Could it be that there was something going on? Bai Renjun thought a lot. He almost couldn't sleep at night. He was thinking about what was the main reason for Shirley to retire. Of course, in the end, Bai Renjun's thoughts were the same as Qi Xiaobei's. His mind was filled with Shirley's forces after he retired. It was like a piece of fatty braised pork ribs. Whoever said that they didn't want to eat it was definitely lying to themselves. Even if Chun Wei covetously guarded this piece of braised pork that Shirley was about to hand over, Bai Renjun and Qi Xiaobei would still prepare their chopsticks to snatch it. Snatch it. Even if they risked being slapped, they would still get this piece of meat into their bowls. This was not a girl who would obediently come to your bowl if you shouted. Bai Renjun and Qi Xiaobei had already thought about the price that they would have to pay. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.